Chapter 3677. As far as Lord Yu was concerned, Little White was the future king of the Eastern region, and all the races of the Eastern region would be its subordinates. Little White was talented and had a good chance of reaching the complete realm. Logically speaking, Zishi was not that important. Jean wouldn't offend the future king of the Eastern region for a little girl, would he? The leader of the young beast race thought so as well. He did not doubt if Lu Xiaobai had really sent the message. He told Lu Li to take it easy, and he went to the Purple Mountain in person to see Demon Jean to report the matter. Lu Li and Lord Yu became nervous, waiting for Jin's final decision. Zishi would be doomed if Jean didn't give them face. Complete realm warriors had their own dignity. Lu Li used Lord Yan, and then said he would use the Realm King. Now, they were using Little White without the Realm King's order? This old Demon Jean was famous for being unruly. There was no need to guess what would happen when the time came. Time passed by. 2 hours later, Second Patriarch came back with a helpless expression. He said, "Our Patriarch said he won't let her go without the Realm King's order. He also said he made an appointment with you in 10 days. We don't have much time left. He will take action as soon as the time is up." Lu Li and Lord Yu's hearts sank. Jean didn't give them any face. Lord Yu moved his lips and wanted to say something. Lu Li waved his hand to stop him. He said in a deep voice, "Lord Yu, you don't have to worry about this. Since the Yama beast race is determined to kill my friends, then I am not a pushover, someone to be bullied. I have made it clear today. If you beasts insist on killing my friends, then I, Lu Li, will have to declare war on you." You? Declare war? The patriarchs of the beast race were confused. This Saint King, at the early stage of the Saint King realm, was declaring war on them? Was this not a joke? Or was he declaring war on behalf of Little White? The patriarchs of the beast race looked at Lord Yu to see if Lu Li was declaring war on behalf of Little White. If so, the beast race would have to think twice. Little White was backed by the king of the Eastern region. Lord Yu said emotionlessly, "Don't look at me. The Mystic Armor City will not get involved in this. It's your business if you want to fight. But Lu Li is young master's brother after all. Don't bully him with numbers. When young master comes out from his cultivation, you will have to think about it." The patriarchs were confused by Lord Yu's words. Lu Li had declared war on their race. Were they supposed to send them out one by one to fight Lu Li? There were 3 million of them. If Lu Li wanted to start a war, he would be waging war against them. The second elder's face sank. What does Lord Yu mean by this? A foreign race has declared war on us. Can't we fight back? You can fight back. Lord Yu was still expressionless as he said, "However, I hope that you won't ask your allies to take action. Otherwise, I'll report this to the young lord. If young lord comes out of seclusion early and delays your cultivation, the Realm King will be angry." Asking for help from our allies. The group of elders of the beast clan looked at each other again. Was Lord Yu joking? Why would their race need to ask for help when they were at war with Lu Li? Was he trying to humiliate the beast race? Second elder waved his hand to calm the patriarchs down. He organized his thoughts and said, "Lord Yu, are you saying that if Lu Li starts a war with our race, you won't interfere? As long as we don't ask for help from our allies? You won't do anything even if we kill Lu Li?" Lord Yu nodded. He turned to Lu Li and said, "Lu Li, are you sure you want to declare war on the beast race? You must know that from the standpoint of the godly Kai City and the Realm King, we can't help either side. If you insist, then you will be responsible for your own life." Lu Li cupped his fist to Lord Yu and said, "I must save my friend. Lord Yu, you don't have to worry about this. If the beast race doesn't release my friend in 3 days, I will declare war on them. This has nothing to do with you. This is my personal business." "Okay." Lord Yu turned to second elder and said, "We will not interfere in this. Do as you see fit. Just don't bully him. The Eastern region cannot afford to lose face like this." Ha ha ha. The beast race laughed. They didn't care at all. Since the king of the Eastern region and Little White wouldn't interfere, and this human punk was courting death, the beast race could use this chance to establish their dominance. The U-Beast race used to be a Realm King race. Even if they were in decline, not everyone could bully them. Let's go. Lord Yu turned around and left with Lu Li. Second Patriarch didn't bother to see them off. He asked another Patriarch to do so. After Lu Li left, Second Patriarch went to the Purple Mountain again to deliver Lu Li's words to Jean. Ha ha, Jean was amused. He laughed and said, "Okay, then let's wait for 3 days. We will wait for this human punk to declare war. Lu Xiaobai's brother? Now that he has come to us, it would be unfair if we don't slap their faces in the face. Don't kill this punk. Just capture him. Wait for Lu Xiaobai to come and beg me." Outside the Mountain of Ghosts, Jean had defeated Lu Li. Lu Li's realm could not fool him. How could a Saint King at the initial stage be crazy enough to declare war on the U-Beast race? That was not the point. The point was that the city of Mystic Armor was clearly not helping either side, as long as they didn't ask for help from the Alliance, asking for reinforcements. Are you sure this isn't a joke? How could old Demon Jean let go of the opportunity to slap his face that was delivered to his doorstep? In the hearts of old Demon Jean and the entire U-Beast clan, if not for the care of their patriarch, the previous king of the eastern region, Xiaobai's father would have died many times over. Now that Xiaobai's father was in power, not only did he not take care of their tribe, he even wanted to suppress them and massacre them. How could the Yama Beast clan not hate you? Yes, the second elder quickly agreed and then asked, "Where's that little girl? How to deal with it? Why don't we just kill him after he declares war and hang him at the city gate?" "Don't kill them yet." Old Demon Jean waved his hand. "The matter of Ghost God Mountain is still unclear, and killing a little girl is a great honor. Capture Lu Li and lock him up together." When the little girl saw Lu Li, she would probably tell him everything. "Don't kill them. When Lu Xiaobai comes to beg me, I will talk about the conditions. Our territory is too small." "Yeah, how wise of you, family patriarch." The second elder's eyes glowed. After the king of the eastern region massacred the Yama Beast clan, they lost more than half of their territory. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Lu Xiaobai came to ask for the release of the little girl. It wouldn't be too much for them to ask for some territory. After all, Lord Yu had said that he would not help either side. "Don't flatter me." Old Demon Jean waved his hand and said, "Send out scouts. If this guy dares to declare war and enter our territory, take him down immediately. Do it well, and don't let the other races laugh at you. If something goes wrong, you can forget about your position as a patriarch. Don't worry, family patriarch. I will complete the task," the second elder said with confidence. Even though the Yama Beast clan was declining, their foundation was still there. They had more than 100 immortal beasts that were infinitely close to completion. They had tens of thousands of immortal beasts of the Saint King realm. If a Saint King of the initial stage couldn't take them down, he might as well kill himself. Chapter 3678. 3 days later, Lu Li really declared war. Not only that, but he also had the city of Mystic Armor send out an announcement. The Yin Beast had captured his sister, and he was declaring war against the Yin Beast as an individual. As long as the Yin Beast didn't release his sister, he would not stop. If the Yin Beast dared to hurt his sister, he swore that he would wipe out the entire race. An announcement was nothing. What mattered was where the announcement came from. How many scouts did the city of Mystic Armor have? Nobody could tell. Not only the eastern region, but all the other major races had scouts lurking here. Why were they lurking here? To keep an eye on Little White, to see when it would come out from cultivation and if it had reached the perfect realm. Once the heaven-swallowing beasts reached the perfect realm, average warriors at the perfect realm would not be able to resist their gifted skills. That was to say, once Little White reached the perfect realm, it would be more powerful than many at the perfect realm. Its position as the king of the eastern region would be secured. All at the perfect realm of the eastern region would pledge allegiance to it. The eastern region would be stable. If Little White could cultivate for another 10,000 years, it would be another king of the eastern region that could dominate the world. Many major races and even realm kings were fed up with the heaven-swallowing beasts. They didn't want Little White to make the breakthrough. But the king of the eastern region used the blood of the king of origin region to tell everyone not to mess with him. It was better for him to die of old age in peace. Therefore, there were many spies in the city of mystic armor. Naturally, the announcement from the city of mystic armor attracted the attention of the spies. Many messages were sent out like snowflakes. The entire immortal region was paying attention to this matter. Who was Luli? Upon receiving the message, the first thing that came to the minds of many major races was to wonder who Luli was. How could Luli ask the city of mystic armor to send out the announcement for him? Was the city of mystic armor out of its mind? Why didn't the king of the eastern region do anything about it? All of a sudden, Luli became famous in the immortal region. All the major races sent out messages to find out about Luli and to find out the truth. A warrior without any fame could make the city of mystic armor issue an announcement and declare war against the Yin beasts in his own capacity. Although the Yu Beast clan had declined, it was still a famous clan. The previous generation's king of the eastern region had also dominated the world, and everyone knew about him. It was fine for a warrior to declare war against the Yin beasts in his own capacity. But why did the city of mystic armor help? There was something strange about this. Soon, Lu Li's message was spread out. It was from the northern region, because Lu Li had gone to the northern region with Lu Xiaobai. What was more, the Tong race and the Gang race were there. Lu Li's situation was clear. The northern region seemed to want to make a big deal out of this and make Lu Li's situation public. He was one of the leaders of the god of death in the chaotic star area. He was an early-stage saint king. He was an expert in the art of concealment and had some strange abilities. Lu Xiaobai's sworn brother. He had a good relationship with Lu Xiaobai. After the news spread, there was an uproar, which made those big clans and experts even more confused. A leader of a force in the heavenly chaotic starfield? What the hell was that? In the eyes of immortal domain's great clans, those outside immortal domain were all country bumpkins, all bumpkins. It was one thing for a country bumpkin to become Xiao Bai's sworn brother, but an early Saint King dared to challenge the Yu Beast clan? Was Xiao Bai's sworn brother sick in the head? Even if he was sick, would the Mystic Armor City go crazy with him? Soon, the Yu Beasts issued a notice, advising Lu Li to calm down. If he acted recklessly, the Yu Beasts would have to accept the challenge and show no mercy. This was going to be fun. The big clans in the immortal region sent more scouts over. If it was just Lu Li, they wouldn't care. The thing was, Lu Xiaobai and the Yu Beast race were involved, which made things more interesting. Also, the king of the eastern region didn't stop such an absurd thing, which made it even more confusing. Since they couldn't figure out, they had to send more scouts over. Many young masters and young ladies of the big clans came. For example, the princess of the mysterious realm, Qi Shishir, was teleported over at once. Qi Shishir knew how important Lu Li was to Lu Xiaobai. Even if she couldn't do anything, she had to come and cheer for Lu Li. The entire immortal region knew about this, but by Qiushue and by Xiashuang didn't. After Lu Li came back, he asked Lord Yu to secretly make arrangements. Mo Qianqian took them to a secret realm, which was beautiful and had many strange things. There was also a place that was suitable for cultivation. Lu Li didn't want them to worry about him, so he asked them to stay in the secret realm for a while. The secret realm was controlled by the king of the eastern region. Average warriors weren't allowed in, so Lu Li didn't have to worry about their safety. Lu Li left on the same day after he sent out the notice. He used skill of disguise to teleport to a city near the Yu Beast race. As soon as he arrived, he snuck away toward the territory of the Yu Beast race. He knew that the Yu Beast race wouldn't let Qinya Zishi go unless he hurt them. The fight was inevitable. Also, Lu Li knew that the king of the eastern region had tacitly allowed him to fight against the Yu Beast race. In other words, the king of the eastern region wanted Lu Li to suppress the Yu Beast race. If Jin Lao didn't respect Lord Yan, he would be disrespecting the king of the eastern region. The king of the eastern region was worried that the faction would be in trouble and affect Little White's future rule. If Lu Li could wipe out the Yu Beast race, the king of the eastern region would be happy. That was to say, the king of the eastern region wouldn't get involved. But if there were other races helping the U-Beast race, then the king of the eastern region would intervene. Lord Yu had made it clear, and the U-Beast race had agreed. In this case, the king of the eastern region had a reason to intervene. Even though the king of the eastern region didn't get involved, he had created favorable conditions for Lu Li. Go ahead and fight. You only have one enemy, the U-Beast race. Leave the rest to me. This was the secret message from the king of the eastern region to Lu Li. Lu Li was confident. As a matter of fact, he only had one enemy, and that was Jin Lao. As long as Jin Lao didn't get close to him and didn't notice him, there would be no suspense in this fight. Lu Li was not an easy person to deal with. After he snuck into the territory of the U-Beast race, he wandered around. Apart from the Zegol Mountain, he went to all the other places. The territory of the U-Beast race was not big, only the size of dozens of galaxies. They had more than 100 powerful warriors. Apart from the Zegol city, the rest were in other cities and places with resources. Even though the territory was not big, Lu Li had been exploring for 2.5 months. Many scouts had been teleported over. Many of them even went to the cities of the U-Beast race, trying to get information firsthand. After 2 months of silence, all the scouts thought Lu Li didn't dare to do anything and that he was just talking big. After another 5 days, Lu Li made his move. He didn't do anything, but when he did, it would be earth-shattering. He chose a place with resources, which was also an important place for the U-Beast race. There were 6 immortal beasts that were almost at the complete realm guarding this place, and 10,000 U-Beasts. Also, there were some powerful runes here. Lu Li cracked the runes and froze the entire place in an instant. He killed all the powerful warriors and armies and burnt the place to ashes. He ransacked the place and left some words on the stone wall with his sword. This is the consequence if you don't let them go. If they didn't let them go in half a month, the fight would repeat itself. Lu Li, remember the mobile website. Chapter 3679. The Yama Beast race sent out many scouts, and so did those from other forces in the Immortal region. There were so many scouts in this territory that it was frightening. What Lu Li did was discovered in just over 2 hours, and then the news spread out in half a day. The Yama Beast race was shocked. After the scouts spread the news, the eastern region was shaken. Then, many major races in the Immortal region were also shocked and became even more interested. This show was interesting. A Saint King at the early stage of the outer universe dared to challenge an ancient race on his own and killed 6 immortal beasts that were infinitely close to the absolute completion realm in one move. These were not ordinary immortal beasts, but Yama beasts. The Yama beast race once dominated half of the Immortal region. It was impossible for them to do so with just the king of the eastern region at that time. This meant that the Yama beast race was very strong. It was said that the Yama beast race's innate skill was related to the law of time, and it was relatively strong among immortal beasts. 6 powerful Yama beasts were all killed, and none of them escaped. This was very horrifying. Unless a dozen immortal beasts infinitely close to the absolute completion realm were mobilized to launch a surprise attack, or a complete one took action, it would be difficult to do so. The situation in the resource land was spread out. 10,000 Yama beast warriors were burnt to a crisp, and 6 powerful Yama beasts were burnt beyond recognition. Some top scouts checked the 6 Yama beasts from afar, and also the surrounding situation. There was no sign of fighting. 6 Yama beasts seemed to have been burnt to death in an instant, and 2 of them were even sitting cross-legged in the castle, not moving at all. Strange. This scene not only shocked Second Patriarch and a group of Yama beast patriarchs who came immediately, but also many powerful warriors of major races who had received the news from the scouts. It was easy to understand that Lu Li had broken the runes and sneaked in to assassinate them. Several powerful Yama beasts had already rushed out, and their bodies were outside. Lu Li needed time to kill them, right? After Lu Li killed them, the 2 powerful Yama beasts were still sitting in the castle. This was not logical. There was only one explanation. Lu Li's flames had filled the entire valley in an instant, and all the warriors and powerful warriors had been burnt to death. They should have moved after being burnt to death, right? They should have rolled on the ground or something, right? Could it be that Lu Li's flames were so powerful that he could kill powerful warriors infinitely close to the absolute completion realm? The physical body of the Yu beast race was extremely strong. No matter what, Lu Li became famous in a single battle. This wasn't because he accompanied Little White to fight in the northern region. This time, he became famous in the entire immortal region. At the very least, Lu Li had the combat power to kill a few powerhouses who were infinitely close to the consummate level at the same time. In the immortal region, this was already considered a decent powerhouse. The upper echelons of the Yama beast race were enraged. Old Demon Jean was enraged. Old Demon Jean had wanted to personally take action and track down Lu Li to kill him. But then he considered that the impact of this matter was too great. The entire immortal region was paying attention. It would be a bit embarrassing for him, a great perfection paragon, to immediately make a move. He would be mocked by the other great perfection paragons. Therefore, he called out the chief patriarch who was in closed-door cultivation and asked all the powerful warriors of the Yu beast race to hunt down Lu Li. As for Lu Li's threat, Old Demon Jean treated it as bullsh*t. Make Old Demon Jean yield? Dream on. The Yama beasts and the affiliated races in their territories were all mobilized to search for Lu Li all over the world. Many powerful warriors also followed and patrolled around. There were also many powerful warriors infinitely close to the consummate level on standby. Once there was any news, they would immediately go after Lu Li. The Yama beast race had 3 million people. Apart from the old and young, 2 million were mobilized. The affiliated races under their banner had mobilized at least 50 million troops and powerful warriors. The Yama beast race's territory was only so big. They searched almost everywhere. Many scouts outside were mistakenly killed or captured. It was fine if they had identification, but if they were sneaky, they would be killed. At the same time, all the major resources and treasured lands were also on guard. The number of scouts patrolling outside increased by several times. Divine patterns were activated at all times. Once there was any abnormal movement, the powerful warriors inside would know immediately. The security of the entire Yama beast race's territory had reached the highest level in history. 10 days. So many experts and scouts had searched for a whole 10 days, but apart from killing a few thousand scouts from other races, they had found nothing. They didn't even see Lu Li's shadow, let alone track his whereabouts. The powerful warriors of the Yama beast race were suppressing their anger, but they had nowhere to vent it. They gritted their teeth in hatred. Soon, half a month passed. On this day, all places were on guard, especially at the resources and treasure lands. Many scouts and powerful warriors were waiting with their eyes wide open. Since Lu Li had left a message, it was highly likely that he would make a move today. Powerful warriors of the Yama beast race and the affiliated races hid separately, waiting for the news to come. They would go after Lu Li at once. Many scouts were waiting outside as well. Many of them had learned to be smart. They brought their identification with them. It didn't matter if they showed their identities. They were not here to fight against the Yama beast race. They were just here to gather information and watch the fun. The Yama beast race didn't say that they couldn't come. It was getting dark. The moon was hanging high in the sky. There were more and more stars. From time to time, there would be some beast roars in the wild, startling many birds and beasts. Yaming City. This was one of the major cities of the Yama beast race. There were 10 powerful warriors guarding here. The city was sealed off for the entire day. Warriors and tourists in the city were not allowed to wander around. Otherwise, they would be killed. There were warriors patrolling on the streets and outside the city as well. A report broke the peace in the mansion of the city master. A scout leader reported that a land of resources and treasured lands 3,000 miles away from the city was under attack. It was likely that Lu Li was the culprit. Let's go. There were almost no scouts in the city. 6 of the 10 powerful warriors were sent out, and the other 4 stayed here. The 6 of them flew toward the land of resources and treasured lands. An hour after they left, there came a cry of misery from the mansion of the city master along with some loud noises of explosion. There was also a surge of heat coming from the mansion. It was a raging fire. Boom, 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 boom. The noises of explosion never stopped. Civilians, warriors, tourists, and scouts in the city were startled. They used psychic power to check the mansion of the city master. Many warriors were rushing over as well. After those divine wills swept over, they were shocked because they discovered that the 4 supreme experts who had stayed behind in the city lord's mansion had been slaughtered and burned to ashes. The 4 supreme experts had been killed almost instantly. Boom, 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 boom. A man flew up. He did not hide his face. It was the legendary Lu Li. His portrait was plastered all over the streets and alleys. Many scouts had a copy of him. It was easy to recognize him. Lu Li was slaughtering at the mansion of the city master. He had a supreme relic weapon in his hand. With one move, dozens of warriors would be killed. His other hand would shoot out flames from time to time. Those flames would scatter into sparks, and the sparks would shoot all over the sky like a goddess scattering flowers. All the soldiers who were hit by the sparks would instantly be burnt to ashes, without exception. Impressive. Civilians and scouts in the city were shocked and terrified. Would Lu Li slaughter everyone in the city? If he did, then he would release some powerful attacks. The city would be scorched, and many civilians would die along with the Yamming city. The massacre lasted for less than an hour. The 4 powerful warriors and tens of thousands of warriors were killed. The survivors ran away. Lu Li did not go after them. He said, "Don't panic. I don't have a hobby of killing innocent people. I'm only targeting the Yamming beasts. Please tell the master of the gold race that if he doesn't release the hostages, I will continue until the Yamming beasts are wiped out." Chapter 3680. After the massacre at the Yamming city, Lu Li flew out in a straight line. The scouts in the city thought that Lu Li would run away. Little did they know that Lu Li intercepted the 6 powerful Yamming beasts that came back. After the time for one incense stick to burn, Lu Li killed the 2 powerful Yamming beasts. He killed all the scouts nearby, not only those of the Yamming beasts, but also those of other races. An area with a radius of 300 miles was scorched by him. Lu Li did this to hide his chilly energy, so that the outside world would think that he killed the patriarchs of the Yamming beasts with fire. As a matter of fact, when there were many powerful Yamming beasts, Lu Li had to rely on chilly energy to kill them. Chilly energy was the most powerful. Once it was used, any warrior that was close to the complete realm could be frozen. Back in the days, even the gang race master was frozen by Lu Li. Even though the ice was shattered by Lu Li, the gang race master was frozen for a moment. This was Lu Li's trump card. He did not want the outside world to know about it, especially the Yamming beasts, which would affect his future actions. Therefore, every time he used the chilly energy, he would set fire. As soon as the fire came out, the surrounding area would be scorched and all traces of chilly energy would disappear. This was part of Lu Li's plan. The attack on the land of resources was a smokescreen. Blood Fairy had set up the runes beforehand. Since Lu Li was going to do this, he would not just kill a few patriarchs. He had to kill all 10 patriarchs to make the matter worse and to strike fear into the Yamming beasts. The Yamming beasts had more than 100 powerful warriors. Including the affiliated races, there would be 200 to 300 in total. That being said, even 300 could not withstand Lu Li's killing spree. 6 at a time, 10 at a time. If Lu Li could kill for a dozen times, half of the powerful warriors would be gone. The news spread out. Once again, the Yamming beasts were in an uproar. The entire eastern region became livelier. Lu Li stopped attacking the land of resources. Instead, he snuck into the city and began his massacre. Even though he only killed powerful warriors and warriors of the Yamming beasts in the inner city had been scorched. Not only did he kill people in the city, but he also swaggered out to ambush the powerful warriors of the Yamming beasts who came back to help. He was so arrogant. What happened in the next few days shocked the entire eastern region. This time, Lu Li didn't hide. He kept attacking, and he was targeting the powerful warriors that were coming over. Every time, he could kill several powerful warriors. He attacked 4 times in a row and killed another 17 supreme experts in total. 9 of them were elders of the Beast clan, while the other 8 were experts of the Beast clan's vassal clans. After 4 strikes, Luli went into stealth mode and left. This time, he went into stealth mode for 10 days. 10 days later, he appeared in the northwest, billions of miles away from Yiming City. There, he massacred another city. Then he swaggered to the nearby resource-rich lands and massacred another resource-rich land. A city and a treasure trove of resources had been lost. More than 10 supreme experts and hundreds of thousands of soldiers had been killed. This caused the Yama Beast race to panic. If Luli went on like this, the Yama Beast would be doomed. By then, Jean would be the only one left. Old Demon Jean could no longer sit still. He personally made a move, but in secret. He believed that as long as he could find Luli, he could kill him in an instant. The territory of the Yama Beast race was not large. Old Demon Jean planned to go all the way. He didn't believe that he couldn't find or kill Luli. After Old Demon Jean took action, so did Luli. This time, he didn't go after the powerful warriors of the Yama Beast race. Instead, he sneaked toward the Purple Mountain. Based on the map and his own judgment, he felt that Old Demon Jean would take action soon. Luli decided to take the risk and go to the Purple Mountain. Theoretically speaking, Old Demon Jean wouldn't sit still no matter how much he cared about his reputation after he had killed so many powerful warriors. He would make a move. Luli also noticed from the map that the defense at the Purple Mountain had been strengthened recently. Even the Divine Pattern Formation had been activated. What did this mean? If Old Demon Jean was at the Purple Mountain, there would be no need for the Divine Pattern Formation to be activated when he was at the Purple Mountain. Since Old Demon Jean had gone out, the warriors guarding here were afraid that something might happen. Therefore, the Divine Pattern Formation was activated and the defense was strengthened. Luli decided to take the risk. As a matter of fact, he was fearless because he felt Old Demon Jean wouldn't dare to kill him even if he was captured. As long as Old Demon Jean was not an idiot, he could tell something from the attitude of the king of the Eastern region. Luli was afraid that if he went on like this, Old Demon Jean would lose his temper and kill Zishi. Therefore, Luli wanted to take the risk. He believed that Old Demon Jean, a warrior at the consummate level, would not bother to kill him with schemes and tricks. Luli sped up. In 5 days, he arrived at the foot of the Purple Mountain. He had already found out that Qianya and Zishi were locked in the dungeon of the Purple Mountain. The dungeon was under the Purple Mountain with only one entrance and a divine pattern. Both the entrance and the dungeon were guarded by a patriarch. Not even a mosquito could get in. This was not difficult for Luli. Blood Fairy took action. In half a day, she cracked a hole in the divine pattern of the Purple Mountain without anyone noticing. Then, Luli sneaked his way to the underground cave. There was a powerful warrior guarding at the entrance. Luli sneaked to the warrior's side. He did not release any cold energy for fear that he might alarm the warrior on the Purple Mountain. He was afraid that Old Demon Jean was on the Purple Mountain as well. Therefore, Luli used formations and the divine liquid of perdition. Under the sneak attack, the warrior's soul was affected. The divine liquid of perdition corroded his head and killed him instantly. Blood Fairy had already taken action. She snuck into the underground and cracked the divine pattern. The divine patterns here were not strong. Since this was the Purple Mountain, average warriors would not dare to make trouble here. Luli snuck deeper into the underground. That warrior seemed to have sensed something. He opened his eyes and found Blood Fairy, who was underground. When he was about to send out a warning signal, a gust of cold air surged out from him. He was frozen into an ice sculpture. Luli came out. He hacked at the warrior several times with the traceless saber and killed the warrior. Blood Fairy, quick! Luli told Blood Fairy at once. Since he used the cold air, it was inevitable that some cold air would pass through. Also, 2 patriarchs had died. What if they had jade talismans of life? Usually, jade talismans of life would be guarded by warriors. With the death of the patriarchs, there would be powerful warriors coming to check. If Old Demon Jean was here, then it would be troublesome. Master, give me the time for 1 incense stick to burn. Blood Fairy said. Luli did not take the risk after hearing that. He went into the Dharma region at once. At the same time, He used a map to monitor the situation on the Purple Mountain. He had no time to worry about being exposed. He looked around to see if old Demon Jean was at the Purple Mountain. Bang, bang, bang. Inside the Purple Mountain, alarm bells were ringing. Many powerful warriors flew up. From the Purple Mountain, many warriors and armies were flying over as well. Clearly, Lu Li's actions had been discovered. Chapter 36:81. Good, Azrael Jean is not here. Lu Li made up his mind after a moment of observation. If Azrael Jean were here, he would fly out in rage and charge at Lu Li directly without any disguise. Azrael Jean was short-tempered. Lu Li had killed his way to the Purple Mountain. Would Azrael Jean sneak up to Lu Li? Why should Lu Li be afraid when Azrael Jean was not here? Lu Li dashed out and stood in the tunnel. Soon, several patriarchs rushed in. Seeing Lu Li here, they glared at him with ferocious looks. They were about to kill Lu Li. Lu Li sneered. Cold air poured out from his hand. The temperature in the tunnel dropped to a horrifying level. The patriarchs were frozen as well. Buzzing, Lu Li dashed over and released flames. The patriarchs were frozen and could not move. Their source of energy and their souls were frozen. They could only watch as the flames came and devoured them. Whoosh, 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 more teams of warriors came in. They were frightened to see the horrifying flames down there. However, Lu Li was here. If they did not try their best to stop him, they would all perish when their family patriarch came back. Therefore, even though the warriors knew they were going to die, they could not care less. They dashed down in a frenzy. Are you not afraid of death? Then let more of them die. Lu Li continued to pour out flames. The tunnel was not large. All the warriors were enveloped in flames. The more that came in, the more would die. The Purple Mountain was next to the city of Purple Gold. There were hundreds of thousands of warriors guarding the city of Purple Gold. Now all of them were swarming in like moths to a flame. The dungeon was engraved with only one entrance and exit. The warriors were trying to buy time at the cost of their lives, so that Lu Li would not have the chance to run away. The patriarchs from above did not go in. They believed that their family patriarch would come back soon. It had not been long since Lu Li went out. It would be a victory if they could block Lu Li in here. Lu Li was not worried at all. Since Azrael Jean had gone out, he must have gone after Lu Li. Blood Fairy only needed the time for one incense stick to burn. Could Azrael Jean come back in that time? Lu Li did not believe it. That was why he kept releasing flames to incinerate the soldiers who came in. The cave was now filled with charred corpses, and the pungent smell of charred flesh filled the entire dungeon. Outside, there was still an endless stream of soldiers rushing in, continuing to send themselves to their deaths. In the time for half an incense stick to burn, Lu Li had incinerated at least 10,000 warriors. The entrance to the dungeon was completely blocked by the pile of corpses, but it was blasted open by the soldiers outside. Otherwise, they would not have been able to enter. Lu Li couldn't care less. When the warriors rushed in, Lu Li slapped them. The temperature of the flames was so high that hundreds of warriors could be incinerated. Another half an incense stick's worth of time had passed, and Blood Fairy's voice was heard. Master, it's done. The divine inscription of the dungeon has been unlocked. Lu Li looked over at once. A thick stone door moved upward slowly, revealing a dungeon inside. Qian Yazishi was squatting inside. She was overjoyed to see Lu Li and exclaimed, Brother Lu? Lu Li dashed in and put Zishi into his interspatial artifact without any nonsense. Then, he took out his traceless sword and was ready to rush out. There was only one way out. If Lu Li wanted to go out, he would have to fight his way out. He paved the way with flames and incinerated many warriors. Step by step, Lu Li stepped forward and soon, he was out of the tunnel. As soon as he was out, he was attacked. Over a dozen warriors who were infinitely close to the consummate realm launched fierce attacks at him. Buzzing, Lu Li sensed that something was not right. He dashed into the realm of magic at once. Even though he reacted quickly, he was injured. As soon as he entered the realm of magic, he spat out blood, and his back was a bloody mess. He was fast enough. Otherwise, he would not have been able to enter the realm of magic when the space was shaken. Boom! Boom, boom, the more than a dozen powerful warriors outside did not care about that. They kept on attacking indiscriminately and only stopped after the time for half an incense stick to burn. A group of powerhouses and countless troops looked around, their eyes filled with shock and bewilderment. Where was Luli? He seemed to have vanished into thin air. But how could Luli teleport away in the face of so many powerful warriors' attacks? The thing was, teleportation would cause ripples in space. They did not sense any ripples in space. Did Luli go back to the dungeon? Luli was under attack from 3 directions. Apart from running into the dungeon, there was nowhere else for him to go. Let's go in and take a look. Patriarch 5 ordered. The more than a dozen Saint Emperors rushed down, but they found nothing after a round of searching. The more than a dozen Saint Emperors were still attacking everywhere. They bombarded the space, but found nothing. The more than a dozen warriors came up to report. The group of powerful warriors was dumbfounded. What was going on? How should their family patriarch report when he came back? Could it be that Luli suddenly vanished under the siege of so many powerful warriors and armies? Would their family patriarch believe that? Find him, Patriarch 5 yelled. We must find Luli even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground. Hundreds of thousands of warriors began to search everywhere. The warriors that came later surrounded the area. Patriarch 5 mobilized more warriors from all sides, forming a huge encirclement. If he could not find Luli, his position as a patriarch would come to an end. They searched for 2 days with nothing to show for it. Demon Jean came back in a hurry. He flew into a rage when he heard the news and slapped Patriarch 5 half to death. Then, Patriarch 5 began to search in person. But how could Demon Jean find Luli when he was in the realm of magic? The news that something happened at the Z Gold Mountain spread out. There were many spies and secret agents in the Z Gold City. How could it be kept under wraps when there was such a big commotion at the Z Gold Mountain? But when Demon Jean came back, he sealed off the information. Therefore, even though he knew something was wrong at the Z Gold Mountain, he did not have accurate and detailed information. Luli had recovered after 2 days of rest in the realm of magic. He used a map to check around. Since the search was so thorough, he didn't bother to go out. What was more, Demon Jean was still nearby. He could be in danger. He stayed in the realm of magic and used a map to check. After 3 days, the search area was expanded. Demon Jean had been searching outside as well. Luli went out directly. He snuck away from another direction. Demon Jean might notice if he used the map. Luli couldn't worry about that now. When Luli locked onto Demon Jean with psychic power, the latter sensed something. Demon Jean used force in heaven and earth to check an area with a radius of 3,000 miles. Unfortunately, he found nothing. Demon Jean flew around quickly and gave up after 2 hours. He had to admit that he could not find Luli. Luli snuck away. It took him 7 or 8 days to leave the territory of the Yin Beast race. Then, he teleported to the city of Mystic Armor in a few days. At the city of Mystic Armor, Luli asked Lord Yu to send a notice that his sister had been saved and he was willing to bury the hatchet with the Yin race. Of course, if the Yin race wanted to keep fighting, he would be happy to keep them company. Remember the website of the mobile version. Chapter 3682. Luli's announcement provided an explanation for what happened on the Purple Mountain. After the news spread out, the area became lively again. Many warriors exclaimed that Luli was too bold. He dared to kill his way into the Purple Mountain and successfully rescued the hostages. Jean Duan was completely humiliated this time. He was pinned to the ground by Luli. Luli's announcement was still there. The meaning was clear. If Jean Duan didn't back down, Luli would keep on killing until Jean Duan admitted defeat or the Yin Beast race was wiped out. Arrogant and domineering, Luli became famous in the Celestial region after this battle. At least, the major races knew that there was a Saint King at the initial stage of the Chaotic Star region called Luli who pinned the Yin Beast race to the ground. Would Jean Duan admit defeat? As the descendants of the former king of the Eastern region, the Yu Beast clan had their own pride. They were still immersed in the glory of the past and were unable to extricate themselves. How could they admit defeat after losing so much face this time. Jean Duan immediately announced that Lu Li's race would be wiped out. The Yin Beast race would not rest until Lu Li was dead. This was the reason why Lu Li didn't leave after saving Zixi. He was afraid that Jean Duan wouldn't let him go. He would mobilize armies and powerful warriors to kill his way into the chaotic star region. The King of the East couldn't say anything because he had a feud with the Yin Beast race. After all, Jean Duan wasn't there to take over territory. After Jean Duan made the announcement, Lu Li left Zixi in Little White's mansion. Then, he teleported to the side of the Yin Beast race's territory and teleported there. There was no word from the King of the East. Lu Li wouldn't stop. If he didn't hurt the Yin Beast race and make Jean Duan admit defeat, Lu Li would be in danger at any time. Without the threat of hostages, Lu Li's actions became more relaxed. He only needed to determine Jean Duan's location. As long as he didn't get close, the other powerful warriors of the Yin Beast race were like ants to him. He could kill them as he pleased. 10 days after he sneaked into the Yin Beast race's territory, he struck again. He attacked a place with abundant resources, killed 5 warriors who were infinitely close to the consummate realm, and slaughtered tens of thousands of warriors. This time, he didn't say anything. He planned to kill his way in until the Yin Beast race begged for mercy. He was suppressing the Yin Beast race on behalf of the King of the East. He didn't show any mercy. Lu Li wandered around and killed another 5 patriarchs of the Yama Beast race along the way. Then, he sneaked away and went in another direction to kill more warriors. He attacked continuously for more than 10 days, killing 21 experts who were infinitely close to the consummate level and more than 100,000 soldiers in 14 days. After that, he entered the Dharma realm. He guessed that old Demon Jean would come again, so he decided to hide for half a month. He used the main god's map to investigate and found that old Demon Jean had indeed made a move. Moreover, he was not far from him and was searching nearby. Old Demon Jean was so enraged that he no longer hid himself. He searched the area as fast as he could. When Lu Li locked onto him with psychic power, he was alarmed again. Anyway, Asmodean Jean had sensed it. Lu Li didn't mind. Asmodean Jean was not a realm king. He wouldn't know about the divine artifact, would he? At this point, Lu Li didn't care even if Yin 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 knew. Yin 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 was not a realm king. He wouldn't know about the almighty artifact. Blood Fairy's formations could trap warriors at the consummate realm, and Lu Li's cold air could freeze them. If Lu Li could destroy Yin Yin Yan's body with his flames and the liquid of destruction, he would only be able to escape with one remnant of his soul. He wouldn't be able to do much. Well, trap Yin Yin. Lu Li wanted to try. At least, he could trap Yin 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 for a few days. During that time, he could go on a killing spree. He could destroy the Purple Gold City and the Purple Mountain, which would be a great blow to the Yin Beast race. Lu Li stayed in the Dharma realm for half a month. When he sensed that Yin 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 was far away, he left the Dharma realm and flew toward the Purple Gold Mountain. After 7 or 8 days, he arrived at a place with abundant resources near the Purple Gold Mountain. Blood Fairy set up a formation here. He had Blood Fairy set up a spell formation at the foot of a large mountain near the resource location, while he personally stood guard. If any scouts came by and discovered Blood Fairy's spell formation, he would personally kill them. He wouldn't leak any information. In 3 days, the formation was completed. Lu Li was still worried. He asked Blood Fairy to build more formations. Then, Lu Li dashed into the land of resources and revealed himself. After the massacre in the Treasure Land, he flew in the direction of Blood Fairy's formation. Outside the formation, he entered the Dharma realm and waited for old Demon Jean. In just 3 days, many elders and scouts of the Yama Beast race came over. They also began to search in the vicinity. However, Blood Fairy had set up a powerful concealment formation on top of the formation. Even if one flew by, they would not be able to detect the formation with their divine will. 2 days later, Azura Jean teleported over. He explored the valley for a while. After Lu Li locked onto him with psychic power, Azura Jean began to search nearby. Soon, he arrived at the area where Blood Fairy was. Lu Li dashed out and ordered Blood Fairy, "Activate the formation." Buzzing, beams of light shot up. Almost at the same time, Luli took action. Cold air poured out from his hand and froze an area with a radius of thousands of miles. Azura Jean was taken aback. When he saw Luli, his eyes glowed with bloodlust. Luli, go to hell. The cold air poured down and enveloped Azura Jean. Azura Jean was rushing over at the top of his speed. However, he was slowed down by the cold air. Before Azura Jean could come back to his senses, Blood Fairy's formation had taken shape. Azura Jean was trapped in it. Buzzing, Luli went into the Dharma realm at once. Azura Jean was trapped, but who could tell if he could release attacks through the formation? Luli could not stand a strike from a warrior at the consummate level. Luli's purpose of going out was to trap Azura Jean in the formation, not to risk his life against Azura Jean. Whoosh! Beams of light shot out from the horns on old Demon Jin's head, passing through the fishing net formation and reaching the area where Luli had just been. The flow of time and space in that area suddenly became extremely slow. Luli observed this through the almighty map. He was taken aback. If he had not come in, once he was trapped in that area, he wouldn't even know how Azura Jean killed him due to the slow flow of time. I'd better not think about killing Azura Jean. Luli observed for a while and decided not to take the risk. When Azura Jean was completely trapped and the flow of time returned to normal, Luli teleported out at once and snuck away. Boom, boom, boom. Azura Jean began to strike at the rune formation. Luli was not concerned about this. After all, Blood Fairy would know when the formation was broken. As long as the rune formation was not broken, Luli would be safe and he could do whatever he wanted. He flew toward the mountain of Zijin and the city of Zijin as fast as he could. He wanted to level the mountain of Zijin and the city of Zijin to the ground, to defeat Azura Jin's arrogance, and to convince the Yama beasts. Chapter 3683. The Z-Gold City was the sacred city of the Yama beasts. It used to be the capital of the eastern region. The city was old and not flourishing, but there were many places and traces in the city that indicated the city's former glory. But today, this glorious city had turned into ruins. It had become a ghost town. Luli took action against the city. Since the city basically belonged to the Yama beasts, Luli did not show mercy. He attacked directly. He told those who were not from the Yama beasts to leave the city at once or he would kill them. The battle lasted for over 6 hours. The former capital of the eastern region had turned into ruins. Over 1 million of the Yama beasts and their subordinates had passed away. 23 warriors that were close to the consummate realm passed away. Blood Fairy cracked the mountain protection formation on the side of the mountain, and then Luli split it open. Many martial artists and countless scouts escaped from the city. When the scouts saw that the towering Mount Jijin had been split open, they were all shocked. They could not help but sigh at the destruction of the former capital of the eastern region. Anyways, this battle would have a profound impact on the entire immortal region. Luli's name was destined to be known throughout the immortal region. Luli did not dare to linger after the destruction of the Z-Gold City and the mountain. He left the territory of the Yama beasts and found a city to teleport to the city of mystic armor. This time, the Yama beasts were ruthlessly beaten up by him. Even Mount Zijin and the Golden Purple City were destroyed. If old Demon Jin was still unconvinced, then he only had one last option left, and that was to exterminate the Yama beasts. He believed that the master of the eastern region would step in at this point. If this continued, the master of the eastern region would not be able to stand it. On the other side, after old Demon Jin broke through the divine rune formation, he received the report. He returned to the Golden Purple City and saw the ruins. He also saw the Golden Purple Mountains split apart. He raised his head to the sky and roared a few times, tearing the hundreds of scouts nearby into pieces. Luli, I will wipe out your race. Wipe out your race. He bellowed. His voice was filled with anger, grievance, and killing intent. He had never felt so aggrieved or so humiliated in his life. He had actually been reduced to such a horrible state by an early Saint King, losing all his dignity and reputation. If Luli had fought him fair and square, defeated him, or even wiped out the Yama beast race, he would not be so angry and aggrieved. It just so happened that Luli had resorted to some crooked ways. He, a warrior at the absolute peak, was beaten to the ground by a Saint Emperor. This made him so ashamed that he wanted to die. Luli was missing again. No scout could find Luli. Even if he knew that Luli was looking for him, he wouldn't be able to find Luli. What do you expect him to do? He had powerful abilities, but he could not use them. He could not do anything to Luli. Looking at the golden purple city that was reduced to ruins, looking at the countless charred corpses in the city, old Demon Jean really wanted to shatter all of the mountains in the vicinity. He wanted to rip apart millions of warriors to vent the anger in his heart. There were no mountains nearby, and there were no martial artists for him to tear apart. He could only stand in midair with grief and indignation, not knowing what to do. That's enough. A dignified voice sounded in old Demon Jin's ears. A pair of eyes appeared in midair. Old Demon Jean glanced over and was immediately overwhelmed with shock. This pair of eyes was illusory, an illusion, but he recognized at a glance whose eyes they belonged to. The King of the East. Old Demon Jean bowed at once, and then said with grievance, "King of the East, you can see that our holy city and sacred land have been destroyed. So many of our clansmen and powerful warriors have died. If I don't kill Luli, how can I explain to our clansmen?" "Explain?" The King of the East's cold voice came. "If Luli continues to kill, your entire clan will be wiped out. Who will you explain to then? I've asked Luli to stop. Are you going to stop? If not, I won't care anymore." Even though the King of the East seemed to be here to discuss with old Demon Jean, his tone was very unpleasant. Old Demon Jin's heart sank. He knew that this was actually a warning from the King of the East. If he still didn't know what was good for him, then the Beast clan might be wiped out. Old Demon Jin's expression kept changing. After the time for 10 breaths, he finally said, "Since King of the East has said so, then let us stop as well." "Okay." The King of the East said coldly, "I will give your clan a piece of land as compensation. That's it. Don't make any more trouble." The eyes of the King of the East disappeared. Old Demon Jean ordered all the warriors and powerful warriors to stop the search and let the matter rest. The King of the East's appearance actually gave him a chance to step down. He also knew that if he continued to fight, the Beast clan would really be wiped out. He couldn't find Luli, nor could he kill Luli. On the other hand, Luli could keep killing his clansmen and powerful warriors. The Beast clan only had 3 million clansmen, and now almost 1 million of them had died. The warriors of the vassal clans had also died, which added up to more than 3 million. There were 300 powerful warriors of their clan and their vassal clans who were infinitely close to the Great Perfection Realm. Now, Luli had killed more than 100 of them. It was a great loss and a great deal of strength. It was too easy for Luli to kill. Powerful warriors infinitely close to the Great Perfection Realm were no different from regular warriors to him. Therefore, old Demon Jean would be an idiot if he didn't know when to stop when the King of the East showed up. As the leader of a clan, he could be impulsive and reckless sometimes. But when it came to the survival of the clan, he had to be calm. Otherwise, the clan would be led into an endless abyss. On the other side, Luli also received the news that Lord Yu had found him and asked him to go to the East King City. Luli knew that the King of the East had intervened. He quickly teleported to the East King City. When he arrived at the East King Palace, Lord Yun was already waiting for him. He went to the balcony of the East King Palace and saw the King of the East. "Go back. Don't make trouble anymore." The King of the East didn't waste time and said in a deep voice, "I have told you before not to use the divine artifact on a warrior at the Great Perfection Realm of the Immortal Region. Why didn't you listen? It won't do you any good if you use it too much in the Immortal Region. Go back before things get out of hand. Otherwise, you will be targeted by powerful warriors. I will help you keep this matter under control. I don't think there will be any powerful warriors who want to harm you." "Thank you, King of the East." Luli didn't dare to argue and bowed to thank him. If he didn't use the divine artifact, how could he locate old Demon Jean and save Chinya Zishi? If he couldn't locate old Demon Jean, how could he kill as he pleased? If old Demon Jean got close to him, He would die a horrible death. He had no other choice. Of course, he knew that the king of the East wasn't exaggerating. If the divine artifact was exposed, he would be hunted down by countless warriors at the Great Perfection Realm. Therefore, it was better to listen to the king of the East and go back. He said goodbye to the king of the East and went to the mystic armor city. He asked Lord Yu to send by Qiuxiue and Enlure back. When they came back, he would immediately set off for the chaotic star regions. Chapter 3684. Luli left. The king of the eastern region also said that this was the end of the matter and that everyone should disperse. Even though it was only one sentence, it represented the will of the king of the eastern region. Jin Shishuang gave up, and the Yu beasts accepted their fate. The scouts and young masters and young ladies all left. Qi Shishir only saw Luli once, and he didn't have time to chat with her. He left in a hurry with Bai Qiuxiue, Bai Xiaoshuang, Qinya Zishi, and the others. Luli knew how serious this was. Divine artifacts were the artifacts of master immortals. If they were found out by the immortal region, there would be a lot of trouble. Not even the king of the eastern region could handle it. Luckily, he was dealing with the eastern region. With the king of the eastern region keeping Jin Shishuang in check, there shouldn't be any trouble. Jin Shishuang wasn't a realm king either. Maybe he didn't know so many secrets. Luli teleported to the Dongan city after disguising himself. After he went out, he hid for more than 10 days before stopping. He entered the Dharma realm and checked the situation behind him. He also checked the Dongan city. After a few careful checks, he didn't find anything. He took out his battleship and hurried on his way. He let Bai Qiuxiue, Bai Xiaoshuang, and Lure, Qi Dingdong, and Qinya Zishi out. Bai Qiuxiue and the others were confused. Why did Luli leave in such a hurry? Bai Xiaoshuang's eyes lit up when she saw Qinya Zishi. She asked, "Wow, darling, where did you kidnap such a beautiful and cute girl?" Luli was speechless. "What do you mean kidnap? I came to the immortal region to help her out. Her name is Qinya Zishi. She is a friend I met last time in the immortal region, the Qinya clan. Zishi, these three are my wives, Bai Xiaoshuang, Bai Qiuxiue, and Qi Dingdong. This is my disciple, Enlure." Zishi bowed obediently. "Nice to meet you, three sisters-in-law and Lady Lua. You met her last time in the immortal region?" Bai Qiuxiue was surprised. It had been a long time since Luli came to the immortal region. This little girl was only 5 or 6 years old. How could he know her last time? Bai Xiaoshuang and Lure and the others also came to their senses and looked at Qinya Zishi in bewilderment. Luli explained, "Their race is a bit special. Their appearance is always the same, and their mental age will not increase. That's not right. Zishi, the statue in the mountain of supernatural beings, is huge." Qinya Zishi smiled and explained, "That is magnified. My race will only grow up when we reach the realm of perfection or until the moment we die. Otherwise, we will always look like me." Wah Bai Xiaoshuang picked up Qinya Zishi and said, "Your race is so cute. Zishi, do you want to follow us back to the chaotic starfield? Big sister will take you out to play, okay?" "Sure." Qinya Zishi looked at Luli and said, "I said I will follow you for 1,000 years. I wonder if you will turn your back on me? What's there to dislike?" Luli said with a smile, "Come back to the chaotic star region with me. You can stay as long as you want. You can leave whenever you want." "Thank you, Brother Lu." Qinya Zishi's eyes turned into crescent moons. Her cute little face was so adorable that Bai Xiaoshuang and Qi Dingdong were so adorable. Luli didn't mind them anymore. He steered the battleship forward and used the map to monitor the surroundings. After more than half a month, there was no sign of trouble, no scouts, and no powerful warriors following them. Luli could put his mind at ease. He didn't want to develop in the immortal region anyway. The next time he went to the immortal region would be before the king of the eastern region passed away. The only regret was that he couldn't see Little White. But it was a good thing that Little White was in closed-door cultivation. If Little White was playing outside every day, then something big would happen. Now that it was in closed-door cultivation, it would be more likely for it to reach the consummate realm. But Luli was still worried. After another half a month, he steered the battleship back to the immortal region after seeing nothing unusual. It had been more than a month. If there were consummate warriors after them, they would have caught up with them by now. The commotion in the immortal region died down after a while. The king of the eastern region had spoken, so the matter was over. All the races in the immortal region had watched a good show. They saw the once powerful U-Beast race being trampled upon by an outsider Saint King. The U-Beast race had lost all face this time. Several of their vassal races had left. They felt it was too shameful to follow the U-Beast race. Even though the king of the eastern region had given the U-Beast race some land as compensation, the vassal races were still leaving. Who was it to follow? It was too shameful to follow such a boss. They couldn't raise their heads. Jean, the old demon, was still living on Mount Jean. Even though it was split in half, it was still habitable after some repairs. Jean, the old demon, could have restored the mountain, but he didn't. He wanted to tell the U-Beast race that this was a disgrace to them, and that the mountain would never be restored until the disgrace was washed away. Jean, the old demon, didn't build a palace either. He just dug a cave at the top of the mountain and never came out again. Everything in the race was handed over to the Great Elder. The Purple Gold City was rebuilt once again. A few months later, a new city rose from the ground. It was no different from the original Purple Gold City. However, all the U-Beasts felt that this city wasn't the Purple Gold City anymore. Their pride and glory had disappeared with the destruction of the original Purple Gold City. Recently, the U-Beasts had been much more low-key. They all stayed in their residences and didn't dare to show their faces. They cultivated obediently. This time, they were given a rude awakening. Many of their clansmen woke up. They were no longer the U-Beasts of the past. If they continued to live in the past, what awaited them was the extinction of their race. The old demon Jean remained in seclusion. After staying on Mount Jean for 3 to 4 months, this matter gradually calmed down. The main reason was that a great battle had erupted in the Origin realm again. It was very likely that a new Origin King was about to be born. The attention of all the races in the immortal region was drawn over there. After the great battle erupted in the Origin realm, Jean, the old demon, suddenly came out. However, he didn't reveal himself. Instead, he flew towards the north stealthily. He wasn't far from the northern region to begin with, so it took him half a month to reach the northern region. He went to a big city and met with the city lord. An hour later, a super teleportation altar in the big city lit up and teleported Old Demon Jean to North King City. Before Old Demon Jean could react, the Bay family's experts received the news that a perfected one had been waiting for him for a long time. Jean Yin, what are you doing sneaking into North King City? The great perfection cultivators of the northern region did not have a particularly good attitude towards Old Demon Jean. After Bo was killed by Whitey, the northern region was generally hostile towards the eastern region. Old Demon Jean had recently been humiliated by a Saint Emperor, so the great perfection cultivators here naturally looked down on him. I want to see the king of the northern region. Old Demon Jean said expressionlessly, I have important secrets to report to him. Oh, the great perfection of the northern region was a little surprised, but then he sneered. Why didn't you report such a big secret to your realm king? Why did you come to us, realm kings? You should be able to guess the inside story. Old Demon Jean said impatiently. I'm just asking you if you'll let me know. If not, I'll go to the western region of the Kuan realm. I'm sure the other realm kings will be very interested in this news. The great perfection cultivator's expression turned solemn. You have to tell me something, or I won't be able to explain it to the realm king. My realm king has been in seclusion recently. If I disturb him for no reason, I won't be able to bear the wrath of the realm king. Old Demon Jean hesitated for a moment, then gritted his teeth and spat out 3 words. Master Artifact. Remember the mobile website. Chapter 3685. Master artifacts were foreign to the warriors of the heavenly chaotic star fields. Many warriors had never even heard of them. However, they were no strangers to the supremes of the immortal region. Back then, when the realms above the 4th heaven collapsed, countless warriors and large clans escaped and eventually fled to the immortal region. Many perfected ones knew about the existence of master gods. Since there were master gods, there must be master artifacts. Although many perfected ones had never seen the power of master artifacts, they had heard of them. When old Demon Jean said those 3 words, the perfected one of the northern region's eyes lit up. He didn't ask any questions. He just told old Demon Jean to wait and disappeared. Not long after the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, the perfected one returned and brought old Demon Jean to the back mountain. As soon as they entered the back mountain, the scenery changed. A valley that looked like a fairyland appeared. This was the North King Valley, where the king of the northern region lived. Following the white jade path, old Demon Jean arrived at a white jade palace. On the other side of the palace was a cliff. At the edge of the cliff stood a man in white. His age couldn't be seen. His face looked as if it had been carved by a knife or axe. He looked similar to Bae-Ao. His aura was far beyond that of a playboy like Bae-Ao. He stood on the edge of the cliff. His figure wasn't tall, but he gave old Demon Jean the feeling of a towering mountain. That small body seemed to contain a shocking amount of energy. Just a lift of his hand could shatter the sky and earth. The king of the northern region, Bai Xian. This was the famous jade-faced playboy of the northern region. He was also the prince charming in the hearts of countless girls. It was said that when he had not broken through to the great perfection realm and was still the young clan leader of the Bai clan, the young mistresses of several realm kings' families were head over heels for him. Countless young mistresses even treated him as their dream lover, and he was the only one they would never marry. Bai Xian stood on the edge of the cliff, not looking back at old Demon Jean. Old Demon Jean walked over respectfully and bowed to Bai Xian. Jean Yin greets King Bai. Bai Xian didn't reply. He continued to look down the cliff. After a while, he said, "Speak." Old Demon Jean was secretly angry. He was a perfected one, right? And a descendant of the former king of the eastern region. It hadn't been long since Bai Xian became the king of the northern region. His battle prowess should be at the bottom among the realm kings. How could he be so careless, not even giving him a proper face? Despite the anger in his heart, old Demon Jean paused for a moment before saying, "I've discovered the existence of a master artifact, so I've come to report it to the Shell King." There was no emotion on Bai Xian's face, nor did he turn back to look at him. He only waved his hand slightly, indicating for old Demon Jean to continue. Old Demon Jin's face sank when he saw Bai Xian's expression. He bowed and said, "Since King Bai isn't interested, then this old man will take his leave." Old Demon Jean naturally wanted to sell this information for a good price. Bai Xian didn't seem to be interested at all, nor did he offer any conditions. How could he tell him so easily? It was not easy to sell this one, but he could sell another one. The immortal realm did not only have one realm king. There was still no change in Bai Xian's expression. He did not turn around, but he said, "Is this King's North King Valley a place where you can come and go as you please? Step out of this door, and you will die." Outside, 2 consummate-level figures appeared in a flash. Old Demon Jin's expression changed drastically. Wasn't this Bai Xian a little too overbearing? He wanted to kill him at the slightest disagreement? His eyes were filled with mockery as he sneered. "Kill me then. If I die in your northern region, it will give my king an excuse to send troops. When that time comes, let's see if you can withstand my king's wrath. Do you believe that this king will kill you, hang you outside North King City, and say that you are a spy? Your king won't say a word about it." Bai Xian finally turned around and looked at old Demon Jean expressionlessly. "Who do you think you are in the eastern region now? If I kill you, not only will your king not say anything, but he will also thank me for cleaning up his house for him." Old Demon Jin's expression became increasingly ugly, but he didn't dare to say anything else. If he died here, it would be equivalent to dying for nothing. The king of the eastern region really wouldn't go to war for him. He was secretly annoyed and felt that he was in a dilemma. Bai Xian waved his hand and asked the 2 consummate-level figures outside to leave. He said, "Since you have chosen me, then don't waste your breath. If I can get my hands on it, will I not give you any benefits?" Old Demon Jean thought about it. He hesitated for a moment before he cupped his fists. You are right, but I have a small request. Speak, Bei Xian said. Old Demon Jean said, our race is not in a good situation at the Eastern region. If the situation changes, I hope that Shell King can arrange a way out for our race. Bei Xian was silent. After the time for a dozen breaths, he said, you should know that the old heaven-swallowing beast is about to die. None of us dare to anger him now. As long as we don't offend King Dong, everything else is negotiable. Old Demon Jean nodded. Bei Xian's words were sincere. If he agreed immediately, Old Demon Jean wouldn't be so confident. Old Demon Jean thought for a moment and said, I suspect Luli has an overgod artifact, the third eye of the Ice Empress. Oh, Bei Xian's eyes glowed. Why do you say so? Old Demon Jean explained. Luli can monitor my whereabouts, and I can sense his psychic power. But I can't track him down. He knows my whereabouts like the back of his hand. Also, Old Demon Jean told Bei Xian about the strange things he had seen. Bei Xian didn't reply. After a moment of silence, he waved his hand and said, go and bring the clan masters of the Nightmare race, the Steel race, and the Tong race here. Also, bring the patriarchs of the Iron Armor race and the Long Hair race that fought last time. Old Demon Jean was a little puzzled that a paragon had gone down, but he didn't dare to ask too much. Bei Xian put his hands behind his back and continued to stare at the cliff. After several hours, the 3 clan masters and the patriarchs of the Iron Armor race and the Long Hair race were brought over. The king of the northern region turned around and asked, is there anything strange about your battle with Luli? Tell me. The clan master of the Nightmare race was confused. The patriarchs of the Iron Armor race and the Long Hair race were confused as well. The clan master of the Steel race and the Tong race hesitated for a moment. The clan master of the Steel race said, King of the northern region, what are you talking about? Can you give us some hints? The king of the northern region said in a deep voice, for example, does he have the ability to foresee the future? About that, the clan master of the Steel race and the Tong race looked at each other. Their eyes glowed. The clan master of the Steel race said, King of the northern region, now that you mention it, it does seem to be strange. For example, during the last battle, the powerful warriors of the Iron Armor race and the Long Hair race were in hiding, but Luli was able to know their whereabouts. When we ambushed the Tong race, it seemed that our whereabouts were all under his control. Also, when we escaped from the universe region, the clan master of the Steel race said many things. The clan master of the Tong race added, yes, there are many things that we couldn't figure out before. Now that you mention it, King of the Realm, we feel that Luli seems to have the ability to foresee the future. It seems that all our actions are under his control. The king of the northern region interrogated them for several hours, recounting many of the events that had transpired at that time. Only then did he dismiss the experts. After they left, the king of the northern region stood on the cliff for a long time. He murmured, he has the horrifying cold air, and the formation he built is from the ancient era. Also, he has the ability to judge all kinds of strange situations. It is very likely that he got the master artifact of the Ice Empress, the third eye. Chapter 3686. The Ice Empress Divine Artifact was actually very famous in history. It couldn't attack or defend, but it had a scouting ability like the third eye. It could be found anywhere in the great world, so it was very famous. Even Jin Xian could easily guess that it was the divine artifact. Bei Xian was almost certain that Luli had the divine artifact, but he didn't want to take it. If it were any other warrior, he wouldn't have hesitated. He would have mobilized his army and killed them. Luli was different. He had the king of the eastern region behind him. Luli wasn't in the immortal region, but the chaotic star fields. If he messed around there, the king of the eastern region would have an excuse to make a move. By then, even the king of the northern region might be killed. Bei Xian had to take it seriously. He stood on the cliff alone for half a day. Finally, he made up his mind. This sovereign artifact had to be acquired. This was the famous Sky Eye sovereign artifact. With this sovereign artifact, he would be able to easily find out everything that was going on in the entire major world. He could also use his sovereign artifact to explore even more treasure lands and discover even more secrets. He had to get it, but it all depended on how. Bei Xian calculated. The chaotic star fields was like a small pond dam. It was shallow and there were no real dragons, only a few turtles. There were only 5 warriors at the absolute completion realm left, and they were all weak ones. The king of the northern region didn't care about them at all. It would be easy to kill or capture Lu Li. If worst came to worst, he could just launch a surprise attack on the Skycross city and capture all of Lu Li's family members. By then, Lu Li would have to hand over the divine artifact. The problem now was that the king of the eastern region would make trouble for him. How to use the rules and kill Lu Li within the rules was the problem the king of the northern region was thinking about. Soon, he had an idea. The 9 kings of the northern region had decreed that they couldn't go to the 8 galaxies to occupy territory or attack them for no reason. They didn't intend to occupy territory this time, nor did they attack for no reason. They were here for revenge. The Gue race, the Gang race, and the Tong race all held grudges against Lu Li. So did Lu Li. That would make 4 warriors at the complete realm. If they could find some more that didn't belong to the northern region, the matter would be settled. There were 5 at the chaotic star field. With 4 here and 6 more, how could 10 not defeat Lu Li? Call Jin Yin in. Bei Xian shouted. A moment later, old Demon Jin came in. Bei Xian went straight to the point. Jin Yin, I want to send you to the chaotic star region to help me kill Lu Li and bring back the treasure that is suspected to be an almighty artifact. Are you willing? Me? Jin Mo frowned, shook his head, and said, I am afraid that I cannot find Lu Li, nor can I kill him. I'm not very familiar with the heavenly chaotic starfield, and there are also perfected ones there, right? The 3 great perfection deities just now will follow you, Bei Xian said. The 3 of them are from the heavenly chaotic starfields and are very familiar with the situation there. In addition, I'll contact 6 great perfection deities in secret and have them listen to your commands. I want you to kill Lu Li at all costs and get that treasure. As long as you can help me obtain it, I will give the vast domain to your U-Beast clan. As long as I am alive, no other clan will be able to touch your U-Beast clan. Of course, if you want to come, you must come after that sky-swallowing beast is dead. Or, after that sky-swallowing beast is dead and you want to conquer a piece of land in the eastern region, I will do my best to help you. Old Demon Jin understood now. Bei Xian didn't want to do it himself, or rather, he didn't want to get into trouble and anger the king of the eastern region, so he asked him to take the lead. He had a grudge against Lu Li. Those 3 great perfection deities were driven out of the chaotic star region by Lu Li, so they had a grudge against Lu Li as well. Even if the king of the eastern region found out about this, it wouldn't be a violation of the agreement between the 9 region kings. The problem was, the king of the northern region would be fine, but old Demon Jin might be. He was a subordinate of the king of the eastern region. Now, he had to help an outsider deal with the sworn brother of the young master of the eastern region. What kind of character was this? This was a traitor. With the king of the eastern region's temper, if he found out about this, how could he let him go? The conditions offered by the king of the northern region were generous. He had a long lifespan, a conservative estimate of 300,000 years. As long as he helped the king of the northern region get the master artifact, the Yin beast race would have 300,000 years to develop. The king of the northern region also gave them a large piece of land. He knew that the land was very fertile and had many resources and treasures. It was much better than their current territory. He hesitated for a while and asked, Bei Xian, can we wait a few thousand years? Old Demon Jin's meaning was clear. He wanted to wait until the king of the eastern region was dead. By then, there would be no risk. The king of the northern region sneered. If we wait a few thousand years, will I still need you? Riches come from danger. If you don't take the risk, what right do you have to ask me to protect your race? What right do you have to give your race time and territory to develop? You're going to seek revenge. What can the sky-swallowing beast do if he finds out? Are you not allowed to seek revenge? Although this was the logic, old Demon Jin was still hesitant. The king of the eastern region was not stupid. As soon as he made a move, he would know that it was him who did it. When that happened, the king of the eastern region would definitely blame it on him. The sky-swallowing beast had a bad temper. One wrong move, and the U-Beast race would be completely wiped out. Seeing that old Demon Jean was still hesitating, Bei Xian sneered. Don't you know what the U-Beast race is like now? How far away are you from extinction? And once the sky-swallowing beast dies, how long can your race last? Let's say Lu Xiaobai breaks through and becomes the new king of the eastern region. With the relationship between Lu Li and Lu Xiaobai, do you think there will still be a place for your race in the eastern region? Old Demon Jin's face darkened when he heard this. Bei Xian was right. Whether Lu Xiaobai could break through or not, the U-Beast race would suffer after the king of the eastern region died. By then, there would really be the worry of extinction. Why did he sneak here from so far away? Wasn't it to find a way out for the U-Beast race? Where should they go? Old Demon Jean was very hesitant. The deterrent power of the king of the eastern region was too strong. This was a prestige that was rooted in his bones for hundreds of thousands of years. Old Demon Jean feared the king of the eastern region to his bones. Instinctively, he didn't dare to do anything that would go against the will of the king of the eastern region. Jin Yin, Bei Xian was impatient and scolded coldly. Go find the other kings, and the outcome will be the same. No one dares to kill Lu Li openly. In the end, you might be the one to do it. If you don't do it, you won't be able to get any benefits from this information. You probably don't care about ordinary things, do you? All right, I don't want to waste time with you. Give me a straightforward answer. Will you do it or not? Phew. Old Demon Jean let out a long sigh and said in a deep voice, I need you to secretly help me transfer a part of my race over. Also, that part of my race must be settled in your northern spiritual mystery realm. If something happens to me, you must promise to treat my race well. Bei Xian didn't hesitate and waved his hand. No problem. I can promise you that you don't have to worry about the path of retreat. Just do it and leave everything to me. Chapter 3687. East Palace. Lord Yin hurried to the balcony and reported, East Palace, Jin Yin is missing. He is not at the Purple Mountain. East Region Lord turned his head and asked, Is he going after Lu Li? I am not sure. Lord Yin shook his head and said, I did not see him leave from the entrance of the East Region. I did not find anything from the other entrances either. But I cannot rule out the possibility that he might have left from other entrances. How dare you? East Region Lord was filled with killing intent. He waved his hand and said, Find out. Report to me immediately if you find out that he has gone to the Chaotic Star region. I will send him on his way. Yes. Lord Yin left to make arrangements. East Region Lord's eyes flickered. He had stopped the conflict between the Yin beast race, and Lu Li and Jin Yin had agreed to a truce. If Jin Yin went after Lu Li again, it would be a challenge to his authority. As the East Region Lord, any warrior that dared to challenge his authority would face death. Lord Yin didn't expect that Jin Yin would go to the North Region Lord. As far as he was concerned, Jin Yin wouldn't have the guts to betray him and collude with foreign enemies. Once Jin Yin was discovered, it would not only be Jin Yin who would die, but the entire Yin beast race. The East Region Lord didn't manage the specific affairs. Lord Yin was in charge of most of the affairs. The forces at the East Region Lord's mansion were all under his command. Lord Yin mobilized many hidden forces to search for Jin Yan's whereabouts. The East Region also had scouts in the 8 galaxies. Lord Yin sent a message to the Chaotic Star region to contact Lu Li and ask him to help. At the same time, he told Lu Li to be careful. Lu Li had returned to the Chaotic Star region and teleported back to the Tianyue city through the teleportation altar of the Tuan race. As soon as Lu Li came back, the entire God of Death felt at ease. What else could happen when the anchor was back? On their way back, Qin Yazishi had become familiar with Bai Xiaoshuang and the others, especially in Lure. Back at the Tianyue city, Lu Li didn't even have to worry about Qin Yazishi. And Lure would take care of them. This little girl was strange. She was not from the immortal region, but from another place. How come she never thought about going home after so many years? Luli asked about these things once, but Zishi was in low spirits and did not answer. Luli dared not to ask again. Shinya Zishi could stay here as long as she wanted. Luli wouldn't stop her if she wanted to leave. Luli communicated with the other leaders. The god of death was fine, and the chaotic star region was quiet as well. Not to mention a few years, there wouldn't be any major changes in the next 100 years. Right now, with the foundation of the various races, even if they wanted to, they didn't have the capital to squander it. Luli used the map and scanned the entire chaotic star region. As expected, he didn't find anything wrong. He settled down in the Tianhua city and began to live a leisurely life. A month later, a mysterious guest came to the Tianhua city. This guest broke into the cabinet of patriarchs of the Grim Reaper, claiming to be an old friend of Lu Li and asking to see Lu Li. This mysterious warrior was a powerful warrior that was infinitely close to the completion of the realm. They didn't dare to be careless. While being on guard, they sent warriors to report to Lu Li. My old friend? Lu Li frowned. He used psychic power to check on the powerful warrior, but he didn't recognize him. It was just a powerful warrior that was infinitely close to the completion of the realm. Lu Li didn't mind. He appeared in the cabinet of patriarchs, stared at the warrior, and asked, I am Lu Li. Who are you? The powerful warrior looked around. Lu Li waved his hand and said, Come in with me. Lu Li brought the powerful warrior into the Hall of Patriarchs. The powerful warrior took out a token after the rune was activated. He knelt to Lu Li and said, Lord Lu, I am working for Lord Yin. This is the token of my lord. Lord Yin? Lu Li took over the token. It was Lord Yun's token, genuine and authentic. There was a powerful Taoist seal inside. This could not fool anyone. Lu Li said politely, Please rise. Since you are from the eastern region, you are one of us. What did Lord Yin send you here for? Jin Yin, the powerful warrior explained quickly. Lord has found that Jin Yin, the clan leader of the U-Beast race, is missing. Lord asked you to help me look for him. Also, be careful. Don't let Jin Yin sneak up on you. Oh, a glint of coldness rose in Lu Li's eyes. He said in a cold voice, How dare Jin Yin? If he dares to come to the chaotic star region, I will make him suffer, and he will stay here forever. The powerful warrior from the eastern region said, Lord Yin said that if you find Jin Yin here and you're confident that you can win, then kill him directly. Don't worry about anything. Okay, I understand. Lu Li nodded. The powerful warrior from the eastern region left quickly. Lu Li didn't say much to the 9 warriors. He only told them that a friend had asked him about something. When he returned to the Lu mansion, he used the map to check it once. First, he went to the Purple Mountain. He searched the entire mountain and found that Jin Yin was not there. Then he searched the Purple Gold City and nearby areas. Still, he couldn't find Jin Yin. He really is missing. Is he here to seek revenge? Lu Li snorted. He began to search the space between the Immortal region and the Chaotic Star region. He also asked Lu Ling to arrange for the disciples of the Lu Alliance to be scattered so that they could stay at the Tianhua city as little as possible. If Jin Yin was here to attack, he would come directly to the Tianhua city. It would be good to send some disciples of the Lu family and the Lu Alliance away. Lu Li kept on searching over and over again. However, he had been searching for more than 3 months without finding anything. It seemed that Asmodee and Jean didn't come here. Maybe he had gone to a secret realm to cultivate. Lu Li was exhausted from his search. The main reason was that a warrior at the consummate realm could go invisible. If Jin Yin came here, how could Lu Li find him? Lu Li might have an almighty artifact, but he was not omnipotent. How could he find Jin Yin? What he feared the most was that Jin Yin didn't come here. Would he keep searching? When is this going to end? The Lu family and the Grim Reaper would be in danger as long as Jin Yin was not found. He couldn't be on guard all the time. One could be a thief for 1,000 days, but one could not be on guard all the time. Lu Li was frustrated. But what else could he do? He had to work harder. He gave himself a deadline. He would spend another year, and if he found nothing, then he would give up. He asked Blood Fairy to build many runes. There were 2 powerful ones at the Tianhua city. Even if Jin Yin were here, it would be hard for him to crack open the rune formations. At the same time, Lu Li contacted Lord Yun's subordinate to report back to Lord Yun so that Lord Yun could make a decision. Half a month later, Master Yin suddenly sent a message. Old Demon Jean was likely to come to the chaotic starfields because hundreds of thousands of elite members of the U-Beast clan had suddenly disappeared. Old Demon Jean was obviously arranging a way out. Why would Jean Yin make arrangements? Needless to say, he was here to get back at Lu Li. Chapter 3688. The Yama Beast had a population of 3 million. Lu Li had killed nearly 1 million, and there were only 2 million left. Now hundreds of thousands were missing. It would be strange if there was no problem. Hundreds of thousands of Yama Beasts would not disappear for no reason. Powerful warriors of the Yama Beasts must have taken them away with an interspatial artifact. The ones missing were all elite warriors. Their intention was clear. Jean was going to make a move at all costs. He had planned his escape route and was going to perish together with Lu Li. Regardless of whether old Demon Jean succeeded or not, he was dead for sure. Master of the Eastern region was enraged. Unless Jean could stay hidden all the time, he would be discovered by Lord Yun and the others. Therefore, old Demon Jean was going all out. This was also the most troublesome thing. A perfect warrior who was ready to court death could be very destructive. Perfect warriors could hide in the world. Even with a map, Lu Li cannot find them. The Skycross city could not keep the formation open all the time. Lu Li discussed with Lu Ling for a while, and then went to talk with Emperor Li and Emperor Mo. They decided to play it safe and make some arrangements in case Jean could wipe them all out at once. The Grim Reaper took action. Many young warriors and some unaffiliated warriors were mobilized. The Skycross city was under military control. The rune formation Blood Fairy built was always open. Everyone had to use the teleportation altar to go in and out. All warriors must have tokens issued by the Cabinet of Patriarchs. What was more, most warriors in the city were moved out of the satellite cities. They were not allowed to enter the Skycross city without reason. In this way, they could prevent Jean from sneaking into the Skycross city. In order to attack Lu Li, they must crack the rune formation in the Skycross city. Blood Fairy's divine glyphs formation would take a few days to crack. By then, Lu Li and the others could make arrangements. Jean was not scary. The Skycross city had a miraculous rune formation. The Chaotic Star region had other perfect warriors as well. Lu Li had gone to communicate with the Tuan race, Temple of Investiture, Fire Beacon, and other perfect warriors. Once they found Jean, they would take action and kill him. The perfect warriors of the Chaotic Star region were hesitant to attack a perfect warrior from the Immortal region. After all, that was a perfect warrior from the Immortal region. What if it was a super force? What if things were different from what Lu Li said? At that time, they would be in big trouble. Lu Li had no choice but to bring Lord Yun's subordinates out and tell them about the Eastern region's intention. The few absolute realm warriors here were still skeptical, but in the end, they chose to believe Lu Li. They sent out scouts to the Immortal region at once. If there was something wrong, they would not do anything. The Lu family was dismissed. None of the warriors of the Lu family were left. All warriors of the 9 warriors were sent to the Ancestral Land. The Ancestral Land was Death God's top secret. Many elders and great elders didn't know how to enter it. The Ancestral Land was a secret of the Grim Reaper. Many patriarchs and patries did not know how. The Lu clan was terrified. It had actually reached the point where they had to evacuate. Had the situation deteriorated to this extent? Lu Li didn't explain. Only Lu Ling and Lu Renhuang knew. He ordered all the higher-ups of the Lu family and the Lu alliance to evacuate to their ancestral lands. Lu Li did not explain. Only Lu Ling and Lu Renhuang knew. He ordered all the leaders of the Lu family and the Lu alliance to go to the ancestral land. In half a month, most of the warriors of the Tianyu city were evacuated. The city was deserted. All the scouts of the Grim Reaper were sent out to search for Jean Duan. At the same time, the other 9 masters mobilized their forces to search for the mysterious, powerful warrior. Lu Li knew it was pointless. If regular scouts could find a perfect warrior, then the perfect warrior wouldn't be one. Lu Li used the map to search around the world, focusing on the space between the Immortal region and the Chaotic Star region. The atmosphere of the entire Grim Reaper had become grim. Even the atmosphere of the entire heavenly chaotic star territory had become heavy, especially the warriors down there, who didn't know what had happened. They all felt anxious. Warriors of lower realms had been keeping a low profile. Who would dare to make trouble at this time? Being targeted by the higher-ups would mean death. Just like that, the search went on for more than 3 months without finding anything. Luli stared at the map every day. He had no clue. He had no idea. He had to search again and again. He didn't discover anything. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't have been able to take it. The atmosphere of the Tianyu city was getting worse. Luli knew very well that this would affect the Grim Reaper. But what else could he do? He had to keep searching. He was sure that Lord Yun's information was correct. Jean Duan would come. Another 2 months passed, but there was still no discovery. Lord Yun's subordinate came to Luli again with a new piece of information. According to the information from the eastern region, the Gui race, Steel race, and Tong race were probably missing as well. Since the 3 races were in the territory of the northern region, it could not be confirmed. Luli's heart was weighed down. He had a bad feeling. If it was just Jean Duan, Luli was confident that he could deal with him. But if there were 4 of them, it would be more difficult. After all, the 4 of them had nothing to worry about. They could take action at will. Even though there were perfect warriors here, they all had families and businesses. They had many concerns. Luli prayed that the perfect warriors of the Gui race, Steel race, and Tong race would not get involved with Jean Duan. Otherwise, they would be in big trouble. By then, it would not only be the Grim Reaper, but also the 10 masters of the chaotic star regions. Several perfect warriors would hide and assassinate one here and one there. When all the perfect warriors of the major races were killed, they would be like fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. After some hesitation, Luli asked Lord Yun's subordinate to send a message back, asking if Lord Yun could mobilize some perfect warriors to help them. He had no other choice. He could not sit back and watch as the perfect warriors of the chaotic star regions were killed. By then, the foundation of the chaotic star regions would be destroyed, and the structure here would be ruined. It would be the doomsday of the Grim Reaper and the Lu Alliance. Lord Yun replied quickly. Before there was clear evidence that they had come to the chaotic star regions, the eastern region would not send the perfect warriors. Because of Jean Duan, the eastern region's faction was not stable. If the eastern region mobilized the perfect warriors, there would be trouble. Also, what if Jean Duan didn't come to the chaotic star regions? What if they never showed up? Could it be that the perfect warriors of the eastern region had been staying in the chaotic star regions? By then, the other realm lords would have objections. Hang on for half a year. Lord Yun suggested that if they found Jean Duan coming, they should report it immediately. As long as they could hang on for half a year, he would come and kill Jean Duan himself. Luli had no other choice but to keep searching. 8 days after he sent the message to Lord Yun, Luli finally found traces of Jean Duan. It wasn't just Luli who found them, but all the warriors in the Tianyu city. Jean Duan was in the sky above the city. Chapter 3689. 4 divine inscriptions arrays were activated in the Sky Moon City. 4 different colors of light flashed, illuminating the entire Sky Moon City in a dreamlike manner. It was extremely beautiful. At this moment, no one was in the mood to appreciate the scenery of Sky Moon City. All the powerhouses were looking at the 4 figures in the sky above Sky Moon City. Among these 4 figures, there were 3 that the upper echelons of the Death God knew. They were the Nightmare Clan King Bai Ling, the Gang Clan King Gang Yu, and the Tong Clan King Tong Sun. The other one was Jin Yin, the clan leader of the Yu Beast race. He stood in midair, a cruel smile on his face. His psychic power had reached through the rune formations to Lu Li. In addition to Jin Yin, Du Ling, Gang Yu, and Tong Sun were also looking at Lu Li with hatred and killing intent. Once upon a time, the Gui race was the overlord of the chaotic star region. Once the Gui race was angered, the entire region would tremble. Who would have thought that because of Lu Li, not only did the Gui clan lose their position as the hegemon of the immortal realms, The 10,000 years of foundation left behind by their ancestors was also destroyed. Now, the Gui clan's position in the immortal realms wasn't good, and their clan was declining day by day. All this was because of Lu Li. It was the same for the Gang race and the Tong race. They had a hard time in the immortal region as well. They were given a piece of land, but it was impossible for them to develop. They could only be weapons in the hands of the long hair race and the steel armor race. They had thought of going back to the Chaotic Star region many times to grind Lu Li's bones into ashes. But they didn't dare to do so, fearing that their race would be dragged into the abyss. Today, they were here with dignity. With the support of the king of the northern region, they had nothing to fear. They were here to kill their enemies with their own hands. They were here to cut Lu Li into pieces. Whoosh, 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 the 9 powerful warriors and many great patriarchs flew out as if they were facing a formidable enemy. 4 of them were at the peak of the immortal region. Even with the rune formations, would they be able to stop them? The 9 powerful warriors looked toward the Lu mansion. They could only count on Lu Li now. Luckily, we have a way out. Emperor Yu and Emperor Emo looked at each other and sighed. They felt the odds were against them. The Tianyu city might cease to exist after today, and they would be crushed into pieces as well. They rejoiced that they had arranged a path of retreat. If they died, their descendants could hide in the ancestral land and not be exterminated. Emperor Li stood in the air, looking at Dark Ling and the others. He said, "Dark Ling, Tong Sun, Gang Yu, according to the agreement, you can't come to the Chaotic Star Fields. Do you want to break the agreement? You belong to the Northern Forces now, right? You left the immortal domain without permission and came to the heavenly chaotic starfield. You have violated the agreement of the 9 Realm Kings. Are you not afraid of the wrath of the 9 Realm Kings?" As the former #1 powerhouse of the Grim Reaper, it had to be said that Emperor Li still had quite an imposing aura. It was a pity that he was facing 4 great perfection deities. This was a little pretentious, and it made the scene a little comical and awkward. The 3 of them didn't say anything. This trip was led by Old Demon Jean. Old Demon Jean sneered and said, "Who do you think you are? Don't use the 9 Realm Kings to pressure us. We all have a grudge against Lu Li, and we don't belong to any force. We have come to seek revenge against Lu Li openly. We have not violated the agreement of the 9 Realm Kings. Lu Li, come out and meet us. Don't hide, and don't think about running away. If you do, the entire Grim Reaper will die with you. Your people and all the warriors related to you will be wiped out by us." Lu Li didn't move. It was pointless to talk too much now. He needed to sort out his thoughts and figure out how to get out of the situation. Old Demon Jean and the other 4 had arrived. They probably didn't think they could go back alive. If Old Demon Jean fell into the hands of the Eastern Region warriors, he would definitely die, let alone Darkling. He had to send a message to Lord Yin now. It would take Lord Yin half a year to get here. Therefore, he had to think of a way to stall for half a year. As for killing Old Demon Jean and the other 3, Lu Li had given up. There were only 5 Great Perfection Realm warriors here, and they all had many concerns. If it was just Old Demon Jean, then maybe the Tuan race's Temple of Investiture would help. But there were 4, and they wouldn't do anything. Even if they did, they might not be a match for Old Demon Jean and the other 3. In other words, he didn't have the ability to suppress Old Demon Jean and Yinling. On the other hand, Old Demon Jean and the other 3 could kill at will. They could turn the Grim Reaper upside down and turn the Chaotic Star region into a river of blood. He could run. There were many teleportation altars in the city. Not even 4 Great Perfection Realm warriors could break the divine glyph formation easily. Not only could he escape, but the 9 warriors and all the powerful warriors in the city could also teleport away and find a place to hide. Old Demon Jean and the other 3 were only 4. It would be difficult to find them. The thing was, the monks could run, but the temple could not. They could run, but could they run in the Grim Reaper's territory? Could the tens of thousands of the Grim Reaper's people run? Old Demon Jean was the kind of maniac who didn't care about human life. He was an immortal beast. Why would he care about other things? Once they ran, Lu Li believed that all the realms of the Grim Reaper would be swept away by Old Demon Jean and the others. Some realms might even be destroyed. What would the 4 Great Perfection Realm Warriors have to worry about? The 4 Great Perfection Realm Warriors might even massacre the entire Chaotic Star region. He could be a coward and wait for Lord Yin to come back for half a year. By then, if Old Demon Jean and the others were killed or chased away, how could he have the face to stay in the Grim Reaper? Countless people of the Grim Reaper died because of him. Could he continue to be the leader of the Chaotic Star region? If he couldn't stay here any longer, the Lu Alliance wouldn't be able to either. What should Lu Alliance do? Should he bring them all back to the Middle King realms? Could the resources of the Middle King realms satisfy the disciples of the Lu Alliance? I cannot let them do whatever they want. Soon, Luli made up his mind. He must protect the Grim Reaper and the Chaotic Star region. He slowly flew out from the Lu Mansion and stood in midair above the Tianyu city. Looking at Old Demon Jean and the others, Luli asked, "Old Demon Jean, Ling Gang, Yu Tongshuan, how do you want to play? Tell us." Lu Li's cooperation surprised Old Demon Jean and the others. They thought Lu Li would run away and hide at once. Lu Li's skill of hiding was incredible. They weren't sure that they could find Lu Li. Coldness rose in Old Demon Jin's eyes as he said, "It's simple. You come with us to the Immortal region, and we will not hurt a single warrior of the Grim Reaper. Of course you can run away. We will let all the people of the Grim Reaper die in your place." "No," Emperor Mo and Emperor Yu said at the same time. What a joke. If Lu Li died, the Grim Reaper would be doomed as well. Since death was the only way, they might as well go all out. There was a super formation at the Tianyu city that could suppress the enemies. If they fought with their lives, there was a chance that they could take down a Great Perfection Realm Warrior. To the Immortal region, Lu Li was surprised. Old Demon Jean and the others weren't here for revenge. It was more like they were here for him. They wanted to capture him alive. Ling Gang and the others had been at the Northern region. Was it the king of the Northern region who wanted to capture him? Chapter 3690. Why did the king of the Northern region want him? Lu Li's mind spun, and he suddenly understood something. It was very likely that these 4 paragons had come for the sovereign artifact. Otherwise, why would Old Demon Jean go after Gang Yu and the others? It was easy to understand why Old Demon Jin's hundreds of thousands of missing tribesmen were sent to the Northern region. If that was the case, these 4 weren't here for revenge, but for a favor. Lu Li was most afraid of madmen. He was most afraid that they wanted nothing but revenge. If they had a favor, then everything would be much easier. Lu Li's mind spun. After a while, he looked up and asked, "I'll go with you to the Immortal region. Are you sure you won't hurt any warriors?" Old Demon Jean patted his chest and said, "The 4 of us are all at the Great Perfection Realm. As long as you come with us to the Immortal region, we promise not to harm a single flower or tree." Lu Li continued, "Can you swear an over-god blood oath? I can go with you to the Immortal region, but you promise not to kill any warriors from the Chaotic Starfield, including me. As long as I swear the over-god blood oath, I'll surrender immediately and leave with you." Old Demon Jean and the others looked at each other, hesitating. They were definitely going to kill Lu Li. Otherwise, how could they vent their anger? But the king of the Northern region had given them a mission to get the Master Artifact at all costs. If they ruined the king of the Northern region's plans, they would have to bear the consequences. If they swore an over-god blood oath, they couldn't kill Lu Li. Even though Lu Li would be in danger if he went to the Northern region, accidents could still happen. What if the king of the Eastern region intercepted him halfway? So, the safest scenario was to kill Lu Li now and take the Master Artifact. As expected, seeing the 4 Great Perfection Realm experts hesitate, Lu Li was reassured. It seemed that they were here for his Master Artifact. It was likely that the king of the Northern region had sent them. His mind worked quickly, thinking of a way out of this situation. Giving up without a fight was not his style. Since the other party was not here to take revenge on him, but to steal his sovereign artifact, then this matter was much more feasible. He locked onto the leaders with his psychic power and said, "Retreat first. After that, return to the ancestral lands. I will lead them away from the chaotic starfield." "How can we do that?" Emperor Mo said at once. Luli, don't try to shoulder everything on your own. We are a team. We will share blessings and misfortunes. If we are to die, we will die together. Emperor of Feather and Emperor of Wings sent messages as well. Luli explained, "Don't worry about me. I have sent a message back to the Eastern region. Warriors of the Eastern region will be here in half a year. So, as long as I can hang around for half a year, I'll be safe. The better your arrangements are, the less I have to worry about, and the easier it will be for me to escape. Understand?" Emperor of Feather and the other two understood. At the end of the day, they were Lu Li's burden. Lu Li's art of stealth was unparalleled in the world. Not even those at the absolute completion realm could find him. As long as they made arrangements, and the four at the absolute completion realm did not hold Lu Li hostage, Lu Li would be safe. Go! After a moment of private communication, the 9 magnates immediately gave the order. There were no more soldiers in the city, only thousands of experts. After the 9 magnates gave the order, groups of experts flew back into the castle. Following that, the castles lit up one by one as groups of experts teleported away. Emperor Mo. Lu Li sent one last message. Move disciples of the Lu Alliance and your families to our ancestral land. As long as you are safe and you're not held hostage, the four at the absolute completion realm will not be able to do anything to me. I understand. I will make the arrangements. Emperor Mo nodded and stepped into the teleportation altar. The changes in the city were witnessed by Demon Jean and the others. Staring at Lu Li, Demon Jean said with killing intent, "Lu Li, you want to run? I dare you to try. We will do what we say. We will kill all the warriors and civilians of the God of Death." "Go ahead." Lu Li shrugged his shoulders and said, "I will not lie to you. All the people of the Lu family have gone into hiding. You will not be able to find me in dozens of years. The higher-ups of the God of Death have gone into hiding as well. As for the low-level civilians, you can kill them if you want. I don't care. Also, I have informed Lord Yin. In half a year at most, Lord Yin will come in person. During this time, you can kill as many as you want. After half a year, it will be your turn to die. Attack." Demon Jean wasted no more time. He took out a supreme relic weapon and struck at the runes. The patriarch of the Gue race and the absolute completion realm of the Steel race and the Tong race launched their attacks as well. Almost at the same time, Asmodean Jin's horn glowed. Rays of light shot toward Lu Li's direction through the runes. Lu Li wanted to enter the land of magic at once, but he felt the time around him had slowed down by tens of thousands of times. "I have been careless," Lu Li complained to himself. Fortunately, he didn't have to run. He could enter the realm of magic directly. Even though it took him some time, it shouldn't be too difficult to enter the realm of magic. Buzzing, a vertical eye suddenly glowed in the middle of nightmare. A ray of light shot down through the runes and into Lu Li's body. Lu Li didn't feel any harm. Instead, he felt a strand of energy disappeared into his body as soon as it entered his body. "What is this?" Lu Li was confused. He didn't think too much. He controlled his body to enter the realm of magic. After Lu Li disappeared, Demon Jean and the others looked at each other speechlessly. They sensed through heaven and earth that Lu Li had disappeared, right under their noses. Boom, boom, boom. There were 4 divine pattern formations here. It would not be easy to break them. Even though there were 4 divine pattern formations, it would take at least 5 or 6 days to do so. Gang Race Master thought about it and asked, "Jin Yin, how about letting the other 6 divine pattern warriors attack as well? It will be faster." Lord of the Northern Region found them 6 divine pattern warriors that didn't belong to any force and told them to listen to Jin Yan's command. Demon Jean didn't let them reveal themselves. They had been waiting in the dark. This was a secret force. Once they were exposed, they wouldn't be of much help. "No!" Jin Yin waved his hand. "Even if they do, they can only speed things up by 2 or 3 days. What's the point? If they hide in the dark, they can play a bigger role." "Lu Li is gone. Did he run away?" Gang Yu asked while attacking. Demon Jean didn't answer. He turned to Nightmare, who closed his eyes to sense, and said, "Lu Li should be hiding in some kind of space." but I am sure that he hasn't left this area. He should still be in the city. Just now, Nightmare opened his vertical eye and used a strange skill of his race. He could sense Lu Li's whereabouts, albeit barely. The other 3 divine pattern warriors were relieved to hear this. They continued to attack the formations. As long as Lu Li didn't leave the Tianyuan city, nothing else mattered. Why get my hands on you? I will make you regret coming to this world. Demon Jean bellowed, clenching his teeth. He felt that even if he could complete the task, he wouldn't be able to make it out alive. Therefore, as long as Lu Li was in his hands, he would torture Lu Li to death in order to vent his hatred. Chapter 3691. The attack was still going on outside. The attacks from the 4 perfect realm warriors were too fierce. Every time they landed, the runes would shake violently. The average runes would have been shattered. Lu Li checked using the map and made sure that the flow of time had returned to normal. He decided to run. Did Darkling use a skill that seemed to be able to track him down? Lu Li was not worried because he could sense the hidden energy in his body. Since he could absorb it with the realm of Dharma at any time. The reason why he did not absorb the energy was to lure the 4 perfect realm warriors away. Buzzing, he dashed out and snuck toward a castle using the traceless way. The moment Lu Li showed up, Darkling's eyes glowed. He told the other 3 perfect realm warriors, Lu Li has come out from the Shumi space. Warrior Jean and the other 2 were excited. If Dark Frost could track Lu Li's whereabouts, then they could track him down no matter where he went. As long as they could track him down, it would be a piece of cake for several perfect realm warriors to deal with a Saint King at the initial stage. They could kill him easily. Buzzing, a teleportation altar glowed. Jin Yin and the other 3 stopped their attacks. There were no warriors in the city, and Lu Li had left. What were they doing here? The teleportation altar had been glowing for a long time. Clearly, the distance was far. Jean and the other 3 were worried. Was Lu Li going to another galaxy? Even though they were at the perfect realm, it would take them a long time to fly over. The teleportation altar glowed for over 2 hours. The 4 perfect realm warriors' hearts sank. Lu Li must have been teleported over a long distance. He might not be in this galaxy anymore. Jin Yin and the other 3 turned to Darkling, who opened his vertical eye. After the time for 1 incense stick to burn, Darkling said, "He has gone to the east, far away. He should be at the border of the galaxy. He wants to leave the chaotic universe." Jin Yin asked, "Will the mark you planted on him last forever? Can it be dissolved?" "I can't refine them. There's only one way to remove the mark, and that is to destroy the physical body and form a new one," Du Ling said with certainty. "Go." Jin Yin and the others were excited. It was not that easy to rebuild a physical body. It would take at least a year. Therefore, the mark would always be there, which would give them a chance to find Lu Li. They could blend in with nature. As long as they could approach Lu Li quietly, they could kill Lu Li easily. Lu Li could not keep building powerful formations and altars, could he? The 4 experts quickly flew towards the east. After they flew out of the void, Jin Yin took out a warship. The few Paragon stage experts boarded the warship, and the warship shone brightly before disappearing into the void. This battleship was the famous Netherworld ship in the Immortal Domain. Unless one was at the perfected stage, ordinary martial artists would not be able to sense it at all. It was the top battleship in the Immortal Domain and was very valuable. This battleship was given to them by the Bei family. Lu Li couldn't find Jin Yin and the others because of this battleship. Great perfection deities could merge with heaven and earth and move stealthily, but to travel such a long distance stealthily, these few great perfection deities would die of exhaustion, and their speed would not be fast. The warship could go invisible. Even if Lu Li had an almighty artifact, the invisible warship wouldn't be able to detect him, right? Whoosh, nearby, 6 figures flashed and entered the battlefield. They were the 6 invisible perfected stage experts. As soon as the 6 perfected stage experts entered, the battleship disappeared into the void. Lu Li had indeed teleported to the border. These altars were set up by the Grim Reaper a long time ago. Now that he knew that Jin Yin and the others were here for the almighty artifact, Lu Li had no more concerns. Du Ling had planted some energy on Lu Li, so he should be able to track him down. Lu Li could lure them out of the Chaotic Star territory first. At the very least, he could keep the Grim Reaper safe. As for where he should go after leaving the Chaotic Star territory, Lu Li didn't have a good idea at the moment. He could enter the realm of Dharma. These perfected stage experts would not be able to track him down or shake him out of the realm of Dharma. The problem was that if they couldn't find him, would they return to the Chaotic Star territory to slaughter him? Let's get further away first. Lu Li wanted to get as far away as possible. He wanted to lure Jin Yin and the others away. Lord Yun and the others would arrive in half a year. Lu Li only needed to hold on for half a year. After half a year, Lu Li wouldn't be afraid even if Jin Yin and the others wanted to wreak havoc in the Chaotic Star territory. After Lu Li teleported to a region at the border, he used the map to make sure that Jin Yin and the others were not at the Heaven Crossing region or slaughtering nearby regions. Then, he rushed out of the Chaotic Star territory. Out of the Chaotic Star territory, Lu Li looked around and took out his battleship to fly toward the Heaven Universe Star region. He had teleported so far away. It would take those perfected stage experts at least a month to get to the border. His battleship was not slow either. It would take them at least 2 months to catch up. In 2 months, Lu Li would arrive at the Heaven Universe Star region. By then, he would be in the realm of Dharma. Jin Yin and the others would not have enough time to go back to the Chaotic Star region and slaughter. Lord Yun and the others should be here by then. Let's go. Having made up his mind, Lu Li flew toward the Heaven Universe Star region as fast as he could. At the same time, he used the map to monitor the surroundings and search for Jin Yin and the others. He probed around the Tianyue boundary, but because old Demon Jin's warship was invisible, he didn't find anything. He checked in other areas of the Chaotic Star region and found nothing. During this time, people in the Chaotic Star region were in a state of panic. Many major races were in a panic. Half a month later, when the news that the Heaven Crossing City was attacked by several perfected stage experts spread out, the major races in the Chaotic Star region were even more frightened. The other 9 leaders were worried. They were afraid that they would be implicated by Lu Li and lose their positions. Jin Yin and the others must be after me. Lu Li calmed down after he made sure that nothing was wrong in the Chaotic Star region. He began to monitor the outer area of the Chaotic Star region. It would be troublesome to go in and out of the Chaotic Star region. Battleships could not pass through. Lu Li had to fly by himself. He wanted to see if the several perfected stage experts would show up. Another half a month later, a battleship suddenly appeared at the border area. Then, the battleship disappeared and so did 10 people. Lu Li, who had been monitoring this area, saw this. His eyes glowed, and at the same time, he smiled bitterly. Old Demon Jin and the others had indeed come after him. But it wasn't just 4 great perfection deities, but 10. The king of the northern region really did think highly of him. He actually sent 10 great perfection deities just to snatch the chief divine weapon. Lu Li continued to check. After a while, Jin Yin and the other 10 perfected stage experts flashed. The battleship appeared and then disappeared again. Jin Yin and the others left the Chaotic Star region and continued to chase after Lu Li. That punk has been using his third eye to check on us. Lu Li scanned them with psychic power. Jin Yin and the others all felt it. Yin Ling and the others were worried that Lu Li had escaped. After all, Lu Li could see them. Jin Yin said carelessly, "He is only so fast. So what if he knows we are after him? As long as he doesn't go to the eastern region, he will die wherever he goes." Chapter 3692. Lu Li's battleship was slower than Jin Yan's. With the distance between them, it would be difficult for Jin Yan to catch up. Lu Li estimated that it would take Jin Yan's battleship at least a month to catch up with him. He had already been flying for a month. In another month or so, he estimated that he would reach the periphery of the Sky Universe star field. Lu Li sorted out his thoughts. He had 3 options. The first one was to fly for more than half a month and find a place to enter the magic realm directly. Old Demon Jean and the others would probably spend a month or two searching in the vicinity before returning to the heavenly chaotic starfield to kill. By that time, Lord Yun and the others would have arrived. This was the safest method. The second method was to absorb the energy in his body into the Dharma world. At that time, Jean Yin and the others would not be able to track him. He could then leave and find a place to hide. This path was relatively more dangerous. If Jean Yin was able to track him, he might be shaken to death. There was also a third option, to lure the 10 great perfection deities to the Ice River Valley, and then lure them into the Ice Harem. Then they could borrow the cold energy of the Ice Harem to freeze these 10 great perfection deities. This way, they could solve the problem once and for all, and get rid of all future troubles. Even if Lord Yin and the others were to come down, they might not be able to kill these 10 great perfection realm experts. He had reported 4 great perfection deities. What if Lord Yin only brought 3 or 4 great perfection deities with him? How could they fight against 10 great perfection deities? Once Lord Yin and the others were defeated, the god of death would suffer the revenge of Jean Yin and the others, and the people of the god of death would be wiped out. Since there was still time, Lu Li pondered as he steered the battleship forward. He was leaning towards the third option, but the problem was that he only reached the outskirts of the Sky Universe star region after more than a month. He was still at least a month away from the Ice River Valley. How was he going to avoid the pursuit of 10 great perfection deities in this 1 month? If he absorbed the energy in his body, he wouldn't be able to lure these 10 great perfection deities to the Ice River Valley. If he didn't absorb it, he would be killed by the great perfection deity. The battleship moved forward at the top of its speed. It had been half a month, and Lu Li still couldn't come up with a good solution. Full circle cultivation was different from other martial artists. They were way too strong. Once a full circle cultivation got close to him, it would be hard for him to escape. If he died, then everything would be over. The Liu clan would definitely not have a good life, and they might even be wiped out. He had to be careful. Should I try to absorb the energy and then release it? Several days later, Lu Li came up with an idea. If he could absorb the energy and release it later, he would be able to easily lure those 10 great perfection deities to the Ice River Valley. He didn't dare to test it out now. He decided to wait until he was almost at the edge of the Tianyu Star region. A few more days passed, and they finally arrived at the Sky Universe starfield. Today, Lu Li took action. He mobilized the Dharma realm and absorbed the strange energy lurking in his flesh and blood. In an instant, all the energy was absorbed. Almost at the same time, in a hidden battleship 3 days behind Lu Li, Bai Ling opened his eyes. He said in surprise, "The mark on Lu Li is gone. The energy I sent into him is gone." He refined it. An ominous glint flashed in Jean Yan's eyes. They had chased for so long and were about to catch up. But now, Wu Ling suddenly said that he had lost track of the target. How could Jean Yan not be angry? Even Du Ling couldn't figure out what was going on. In all of history, there had never been a martial artist below the Paragon realm who could refine this energy. This energy would fuse with a martial artist's fleshly body. Unless a new fleshly body was condensed, this energy would never disappear. Gang Yu and Tong Sun asked as well. But Wu Ling didn't know what was going on either. What could he say? How could he explain? He couldn't stop now that he had come this far. The battleship moved on. Half a day later, Wu Ling suddenly said in surprise, "Well, the energy is back. I can feel it again." "What is it?" Jean Yin stared at Wu Ling coldly and said, "You are not messing with us, are you? It's gone for a while. Or are you wrong? If the energy is gone, then it must have been refined. How can it appear again?" Wu Ling was the family patriarch of the Duan race, once the overlord of the chaotic star region. In the old days, he would have lost his temper. But after going to the immortal region for a while, his temper had melted away. He curled his lips and said, "Of course I am not messing with you. I don't know why this is happening." Well, the energy is gone again. Jean Yin and the others were speechless. In the next hour, the energy would appear and disappear for a dozen times. Wu Ling didn't report to them anymore. After a while, Jean Yin said, "Let's go faster." Either way, we have to catch up with them. The battleship trembled. It sped up by 20% and flew toward the region of universe. Luli was still flying the battleship forward. He was nervous because he didn't know if he could shake off the pursuers. Set up a formation. Luli thought about it and went to a deserted world nearby. It just so happened that there were some damaged divine patterns. Luli told Blood Fairy to add some simple ones. The simpler, the better. As long as the divine patterns were touched, Blood Fairy would be able to sense it. The more complicated the divine patterns were, the more careful the perfect ones would be. It was easy to set up these minor divine patterns. Soon, Blood Fairy finished 3. One of them turned into a faint mist that covered an area with a radius of 30 miles. There was also a divine pattern beneath his feet that was covered in black fog. This black fog had a faint poison to it, and most martial artists would be able to withstand it. Therefore, great perfection stage cultivators probably wouldn't care about it. Once they touched the divine patterns, Blood Fairy would be able to sense it. With that done, Lu Li's hand glowed. He squeezed out 2 drops of the same energy that Wu Ling put into his body. The 2 drops of energy fell into the ground and dispersed. Lu Li didn't care anymore. He took the battleship and flew toward the region of universe at once. Half a day later, Lu Li steered the battleship to the right. Another half a day later, he found another deserted universe and did the same thing. He asked Blood Fairy to build something again. This time, Lu Li flew toward the region of universe. Master, 7 days later, Blood Fairy said, the divine patterns behind us are activated, and it is not just one warrior. Okay, Lu Li was excited. Usually, warriors would not go to deserted worlds. There was nothing in the deserted worlds, and psychic power could be used to check. Was it necessary to go in? Only the perfect warriors who wanted to know the 2 drops of energy Lu Li put into the ground would go in person. Lu Li flew on. His mind was tense. He was waiting for the 10 perfect warriors to go to the second place. If they went, it would be able to prove many of his deductions. Half a day later, Blood Fairy sent another message to make sure that the second spot was touched. Lu Li felt relieved when he received the message. Many of his speculations were correct. He was confident that he could lure the 10 perfect warriors to the Ice River Valley. Chapter 3693. Darkling was confused. They went to 2 deserted universes in a row and found some energy in each. The energy could only be left by Lu Li. Why would he go to 2 deserted universes for no reason? Was he trying to force the energy out? Now, Darkling was not so sure. Maybe Lu Li, the freak, could refine the energy? Lu Li was able to obtain an over-god weapon, sweep through those who were infinitely close to great perfection as an early Saint King, and possess such a strange art of concealment. Lu Li himself was a freak, so it was not impossible for him to refine energy. The problem was he could feel the energy one moment and then not. What was going on? What was Lu Li doing in these 2 deserted universes? There were too many doubts, causing Yuling to be confused. He couldn't even explain himself, so when Jinyan asked him, he could only muddle through. What else could they do now that they had come to this? Lord Yin must be on his way. They had no way out now. They had to chase after Lu Li and kill him so that they could get the Overlord artifact. Jin Yin and the others knew the situation as well. The 10 complete realm warriors made up their minds and went after Lu Li into the region of universe. After Lu Li entered the region of universe, his tracks became strange. He did not fly. Instead, he went to teleport. Sometimes he would teleport closer and sometimes farther. Darkling could sense him one moment and not the next, which made it difficult for them to track him down. Lu Li did this on purpose. He spent a large number of celestial stones to bribe deacons of many major families. His way of teleporting was not only safe, but also fast. He could leave the 10 complete realm warriors behind. Lu Li would show some of his energy from time to time so that they would not fall behind and could follow him. Lu Li was dancing at the gates of hell. There were 10 complete realm warriors behind him. One careless move, and he would be doomed. He should be glad that he was in the region of universe. Outside of the void, it would not be so easy to fool around with the 10 complete realm warriors. Since he could teleport, it did not take long for Lu Li to arrive at the ancient Rhino realm. 2 days before he arrived, Lu Li had already absorbed all the energy into the realm of magic. He needed some time to set up. It would be easy for the 10 complete realm warriors to enter the Ice River Valley, but not to freeze them. These great perfection deities weren't fools. If they sensed danger, they definitely wouldn't venture too deep. Standing outside of the Ice River Valley again, Lu Li felt like he was in a dream. He could not believe that he could make it here under the pursuit of 10 absolute completion realm warriors. He could even lure 10 absolute completion realm warriors here. Even he could not believe it. Now that they were here, Lu Li was no longer in a panic. He sent Blood Fairy to break open an entrance and sneak in. The Rhino Ape tribe only had one expert who was infinitely close to the consummate level, guarding this place. Too many of the Rhino Ape tribe's experts had died, and they couldn't send 2 more. And, standing at the entrance of the cave, Lu Li thought about it and said, "Blood Fairy, go and set up the divine glyphs here secretly. Add a small one, so that you can sense when enemies are attacking." This is simple. Blood Fairy understood what Lu Li meant. She wanted to make arrangements. After the time for 1 incense stick to burn, she came back. Lu Li strode into the depths of the cave. Soon, he arrived at the pond. There was some cold liquid in the pond. Lu Li absorbed most of the cold liquid, leaving only a little at the bottom. Then, he entered the tunnel and entered the ice harem. Blood Fairy, set up the divine glyphs and seal off the entrance. Do not let any cold air leak out. As soon as he came in, Lu Li ordered. If the cold air outside was strong, the 10 consummate warriors would not dare to come in. How could Lu Li freeze the 10 consummate warriors if they did not come in? How could Lu Li kill the 10 consummate warriors? Seal off the cold air at the entrance and leave only a little bit of cold liquid in the pond. In this way, the cold air would not be so strong. The 10 consummate warriors would come in under the cold air. Once the cold air would freeze them. Even if it could not freeze them completely, Lu Li could ask Blood Fairy to activate the divine glyphs to trap them and freeze them to death. Once, not even a master of the Rhino Ape tribe dared to go in. Lu Li believed that the 10 consummate warriors would not last long. They would be frozen to death. The divine glyphs to seal off the cold air were simple. Lu Li asked Blood Fairy to build other traps. As long as the group of consummate warriors were trapped, Lu Li believed that they would not be far from death. As for Lu Li's safety, that was easy. He could go to the study and ask Blood Fairy to change the divine glyphs to the study. There were divine glyphs everywhere. How could the consummate warriors get close to him? 3 days later, Blood Fairy was done. Lu Li mobilized the energy from the land of magic, and then went to the study of the ice harem to wait for the fish to bite the bait. The 10 consummate warriors were nearby. They were upset that they had lost track of Lu Li in the past 3 days. Du Ling had received a lot of disdain from him. What could he do? Lu Li was leading him by the nose. Dark Ling himself did not know what was going on. I got it. As soon as Lu Li mobilized the energy, Dark Ling sensed it. They followed the trail and found the ancient Rhino realm and the Ice River Valley. The 10 consummate warriors stood above the Ice River Valley. There were many warriors in the Ice River Valley, but none of them could see them. Inside, in this cave, Wu Ling said with certainty, Jin Yin did not act rashly. He used his divine senses to check and said suspiciously, "The cold air in this cave seems to be very terrifying. Could it be connected to the Ice Empress Palace?" Before, none of the warriors would have doubted it. However, after learning that Lu Li had the Ice Harem's divine artifact, and that he had gone through so much to get here, the consummate warriors had to be suspicious. They suspected that this was the Ice Harem. They were not excited at all. Instead, they were solemn. There were relics of the chief immortals in the immortal region. Jin Yin and the others had been to one. There might be treasures in the relics of the chief immortals. Given their abilities, it was impossible to get them. Even a king of the realm would have a hard time. Therefore, They were afraid of the Ice Harem's divine artifact, especially since Lu Li had the Ice Harem's divine artifact. This meant that Lu Li had received the legacy of the Ice Harem. They could die if they went in. They were all consummate warriors, not idiots. On the contrary, they were smart. They knew when to be greedy and when not to be greedy. The treasures in the Ice Harem were troublesome. They did not want to die in there. However, they had come under orders. If they did not take the divine artifact, how could they go back and explain to the king of the northern region? Without the protection of the king of the northern region, how could they resist the rage of the king of the eastern region? Especially Jin Yin, Darkling Gang, and Yu Tongxuan. Their clansmen were all in the northern region. If they did not do well this time, their clansmen would not have a good life. Leave 3 of you outside. The other 7 go in. Jin Yin gritted his teeth and made up his mind. Whether it was a dangerous place or not, they had to go in. Chapter 3694. The 6 paragons the king of the north had invited all obeyed Jin Yan's orders. Jin Yan had asked 3 to stay, and the rest naturally wouldn't say anything. Jin Yan wasn't stupid either. He made some arrangements with the remaining 3, then glanced at Gang Yu. Gang Yu began to break the formation stealthily. It wasn't that they were afraid of the Rhino Ape tribe. If they made a move, they could easily wipe them out. If they broke the formation now, none of them would be able to escape. They had to break the formation stealthily because they didn't want to be exposed, especially not to the immortal region. This kind of formation was too simple for paragons. Gang Yu had done some research on formations, so it was easy for him to break a hole. What Gang Yu didn't know was that Blood Fairy had tampered with the formation. She could sense it as soon as he touched it. After 5 minutes, Gang Yu quietly broke the formation. Jin Yin led the 6 paragons in. There were tens of thousands of soldiers inside, and there were patrols everywhere, but they couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Jin Yan's group of 4 entered the cave. After sensing the inside, they found that the cold wasn't particularly terrifying. The paragons calmed down a bit, and they flew in while on guard. The deeper they flew, the heavier the cold became. It wasn't at the point of freezing them, but it affected their speed. The paragons didn't care. If it was just this cold, they could easily withstand it. Soon, they arrived at the frigid pool area and found that there was some cold liquid at the bottom, blocking the passage inside. At this point, the cold air was even more terrifying. The blood flow in the bodies of the Great Perfection Paragons, as well as the flow of their source power, had all slowed down. After a round of discussion, one of the Great Perfection Paragons made a move, using a great mystic ability to shift the cold liquid to the side. Let's go. When that pitch-black hole appeared, a supreme divine weapon appeared in Jin Yan's hand, and he also released a defensive divine ability. The horns on his head lit up, and he took the lead to rush inside. The other Paragon-level cultivators followed closely behind and rushed into the tunnel. Soon, they reached the bottom. The entrance had been sealed by a divine pattern. The pattern only sealed the cold so that it wouldn't leak out, so it was very weak. Jin Yin probed for a while, then swung the saber in his hand and slashed forward. Boom! The divine runes were blasted apart, but the passageway was too narrow. Jin Yin didn't care too much, and his body shot forward, rushing out of the passageway. Whoosh, 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 the other Great Perfection deities followed suit and landed on the plaza in front of the Ice Queen Palace. As soon as they came out, they discovered that they were enveloped in a barrier of light. Outside the barrier of light was a dense, cold fog. This was also set up by Blood Fairy. Her goal was to isolate the frigid chi and allow the paragons to enter. Blood Fairy do it. In the study, Lu Li, who was monitoring this scene with his Overgod artifact, sent a message. The shield in front of Jin Yin and the others suddenly exploded, and the cold air swept over. At the same time, the entrance behind them lit up. Beams of red light intertwined to seal the entrance. Crack, 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 a few perfected martial monarchs' teeth clattered against each other. After the cold current surged over, their bodies instantly froze. Their blood was frozen, their origin energy was frozen, and even their soul spirits felt like they were being frozen. Retreat. If they still didn't know that there was an ambush at this point, then Jin Yin and the others were all idiots. Jin Yin made a prompt decision. His origin energy surged as he tried to dash toward the entrance. The ice on him cracked. He swung his saber and hacked at the divine rune at the entrance. Boom! However, the divine rune was carefully designed by Blood Fairy. If it could be broken so easily, gang, you wouldn't have been trapped. Also, with his origin energy frozen, Jin Yan's abilities were affected as well. The move merely made the divine rune tremble. Boom, boom, boom. The other perfected martial monarchs attacked as well, but none of them could crack the divine rune. Right at that moment, the ground under their feet lit up as well. Beams of light shot up to the sky and intertwined into a fishing net, trapping the perfected martial monarchs. The beams of light never stopped. The fishing net grew tighter and thicker. This was the divine rune that trapped Gangyu for several days. Boom, 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 the perfected martial monarchs kept attacking. Unfortunately, they could not stop the divine rune from taking shape. Seeing that they were trapped, the 7 perfected martial monarchs felt their hearts were weighed down. It would not have mattered if they were just trapped. What mattered was the cold air here. The cold air could not freeze them to death in an instant, but it was endless. Sooner or later, they would be frozen and die here. Back in the days, the master of the rhinoceros ape race had been to the Ice River Valley. So did some perfected martial monarchs. After all, the Ice River Valley was famous. But none of them came to the palace of the Ice Queen. They had a feeling that they could come in, but not leave. Even the perfected martial monarchs would die here. Buzzing, more beams of light shot up to the sky, reinforcing the divine rune. Luli had given the order to build the strongest formation to freeze the 10 perfected martial monarchs here. Blood Fairy had built 3 such formations. With the reinforcement, it would take the 7 perfected martial monarchs at least half a month to crack the divine rune. We are doomed. Jin Yan's teeth were still chattering. He waved his hand to tell the other perfected martial monarchs to stop. Rather than wasting energy, they might as well come up with something else. He knew very well that they could not crack the divine rune anytime soon. There was no more time. If they did not come up with something, they would not last another day or 2. Bang! Jin Yin took out 2 jade talismans and crushed them. That was a signal to inform the perfected martial monarchs outside that something was wrong, that they were trapped and could die at any moment, and that the perfected martial monarchs should figure out a way to save them. The 7 of them were trapped. What could the 3 perfected martial monarchs do? They had to do as Jin Yin said, to send a message back to the northern region and ask the master of the northern region for help. Let's give up our bodies. After pondering for a moment, Jin Yin gritted his teeth and transmitted his voice. We can't protect our physical bodies. There's only one thing we can do now, and that is to use all of our source energy to protect our souls and let them sleep. We will wait for the Realm King to save us. Give up our bodies? The other perfected martial monarchs were in pain. To give up their bodies was to resign themselves to death. Luli was hiding here. How could Luli not do something? They were all at the perfected martial monarch's realm. It didn't matter if they gave up their bodies. They could build another one later. After all, they could not reach the realm of an almighty god. What they were afraid of was that Luli would kill them as soon as they gave up their bodies. By then, they would be defenseless, and it would be too easy for Luli to kill them. However, if they didn't give up their bodies, they would still die. Their souls would be destroyed. Luli? Jin Yin sneered and said, let's use some of our origin energy to build a seal nearby. If Luli dares to come near, we will turn him into ashes. Sure. The other perfected martial monarchs looked at each other. This was the only way. If they gave up some origin energy, the seal could last longer. Maybe they could hold on until the master of the northern region came. However, could the master of the northern region really do something? Could the master of the northern region stand the coldness here? If the master of the northern region took action, would the master of the eastern region take action? Chapter 3695. Jin Yin and the others released their origin energy and poured out more than a dozen seals. Blood Fairy might be able to solve the sacred runes, but not the seals. They thought that Luli would not be able to solve the seals either. It would take him a long time. By then, the Lord of the Northern Region would be here. After striking out the Taoist seals, the group of great perfection deities decisively gave up on their physical bodies and channeled all of their origin energy into their souls, wrapping them up. They then sat down cross-legged and entered a deep slumber. Origin was the foundation of a paragon, and it was also the strongest power of a paragon. With the protection of this origin, as long as there was no attack from an expert, and only relying on the cold chi, the soul wouldn't have any problems. It could easily last for decades or even centuries. After decades or a century, surely the Lord of the Northern Region would be able to save them? If even the Lord of the Northern Region could not do anything, then they would have to resign themselves to fate. Luli had a clear view of what they were doing. Even though he wasn't sure, he could make some guesses. These few at the absolute peak were probably in hibernation. Were they waiting for help? Luli went to monitor the outside at once. Unfortunately, the three warriors were invisible. He could not see anything. He checked the surroundings again, but still didn't find anything. He retracted his spiritual force and locked onto the 7 perfected stage cultivators. There were 7 fish on the chopping board. He had to find a way to kill them. Out of the 7 of them, 4 of them had enmity with him that could not be resolved. He did not want to let these 4 great perfection deities leave alive. Seals. Luli had a headache when he saw the seals. The seals left by the warriors were offensive. Once he got close, he would be attacked. Blood Fairy would be minced, and Luli would be torn apart. With the protection of the seals, it would be difficult for him to destroy the bodies and souls of the warriors. Wait! Luli was not in a hurry. He could wait for a while. What if they froze to death? By then, he would not have to worry about them. While he waited, he continued to monitor the situation in the Chaotic Star region and the Immortal region. The Chaotic Star region was normal. There should be only 10 of them. After a while, Luli sent a message to Emperor Mo and the others, telling them that the danger was over for now and that he had lured all the warriors away. Logically speaking, the enemy was after the Master Artifact. He was clearly in the Tianyu Galaxy, and the king of the northern region wouldn't be so bored as to send a few great perfection paragons to the heavenly chaotic galaxy to kill him. This matter had already attracted the attention of the king of the eastern region. If this continued, the king of the northern region would not be able to bear the consequences. Emperor Mo and the others were relieved to hear the news. Luli would never lie or say something he was not sure about. Since he had said so, then they must be safe for now. Emperor Mo and the others were not in a hurry to move the people out of the ancestral land. They were not in a hurry anyway. Nothing was happening in the heavenly chaotic star territory. It was very quiet. Their territory was under strict supervision. As for the disciples of the Lu Alliance, Luli told them to stay at the ancestral land to cultivate. It would not be too late for them to come out when he was sure that it was safe. Anyway, the disciples of the Lu Alliance were not very strong. What did it matter if they cultivated in the ancestors' land for a few years or a dozen years? The ancestral land of the Grim Reaper was very big, almost the size of a plane. This was a super big secret realm, and the heaven and earth spiritual chi inside was very dense. There was only one entrance, and it was well hidden. The Grim Reaper had been here for hundreds of thousands of years, and it was very safe. There were less than 100,000 disciples of the Lu Alliance in total. They could be settled in any small city. The Lu family had many resources as well. They could live for hundreds of years if they squandered. There was nothing to worry about. Luli had absolute authority in the Lu Alliance. Who dared to disobey his orders? They could not go out even if they wanted to. The entrances and exits were guarded by the 10 giants. Without tokens, nobody could go out. Luli asked Emperor Mo to send a message to the Hall of Ascension of the Tuan race, telling them that the danger was over and that the heavenly chaotic star region should go back to normal. Luli had taken care of everything. The other sovereigns were relieved when the news was spread out. Luli had offended so many at the Absolute Realm. He must be from the immortal region. How could the heavenly chaotic star region challenge the immortal region? At first, they wanted to help Lu Li, but now they wouldn't dare to do anything for fear that they would be implicated by Lu Li. Lu Li had taken care of everything. The other sovereigns were surprised to hear the news. Did the king of the eastern region come out? If that was the case, then Lu Li's background was very complicated. They were all worried and sent messengers to the immortal region to get some information. They would feel uneasy if they didn't get to the bottom of it. The heavenly chaotic star region was safe. If it weren't for Lu Li, no one from the immortal region would care about the heavenly chaotic star region. Now, that Lu Li was in the Sky Universe star region. Even if there were any movements from the immortal region, they would go to the Sky Universe star region. There was no movement from the immortal region. There were 3 at the absolute realm left. They set up a special communication altar and sent the news to the king of the northern region, but the latter didn't respond. In the North King city, Bei Xian was still standing on the edge of the cliff, looking up at the clouds. It had been 4 or 5 days since he received the news, and he hadn't moved. He didn't care about the lives of Jin Yin and the others. If they died, so be it. What did it have to do with him? He was hesitating. Lu Li had the Ice Queen's palace, and Lu Li had the Ice Queen's divine artifact. Would he be able to survive the Ice Queen's trap before she died? Although he was a realm king, it didn't mean that his combat ability was much stronger than the average absolute realm. He was only a little stronger than Jin Yin and the others. They were trapped when they went in. Would he be able to kill Lu Li if he went in? He was the king of the northern region and couldn't make decisions easily. If he made the wrong decision, he would be the next king of the origin region and the Bei family would be finished. A sovereign artifact was a good item. If he acquired a sovereign artifact, it would be of great use in his hands. He was confident that with the divine artifact in his hands, he could monitor all the powerful warriors in the world without being noticed. He wanted the divine artifact, but it was risky. Not only the Ice Queen's palace, but also the king of the eastern region. The dying sky swallowing beast was worried that it wouldn't have a chance to show its power. It had no quarrel with Lu Li. If it went looking for trouble with Lu Li, it would be giving the king of the eastern region an excuse. If the king of the eastern region killed the sky swallowing beast, the other realm kings wouldn't say anything. Nobody wanted to provoke the dying sky swallowing beast. The king of the northern region was confident in his abilities, but he also knew his own limits. He couldn't stand the old sky swallowing beast sky swallowing skill. He was no match for the king of the eastern region. Therefore, he stood here for a few days and couldn't come up with a good idea. He didn't dare to act rashly. Bei Luan. After another 3 days, Bei Xian finally made up his mind. He shouted, and a perfect realm warrior appeared outside. Bei Xian ordered, "Activate the teleportation altar to demonic Kuan Mountain." Demonic Kuan Mountain? The perfect realm warrior was surprised. There was an old lunatic living at demonic Kuan Mountain. Why would Bei Xian go to that old lunatic? Chapter 3696. The Eastern Region King's combat strength was very strong, but Little White had said that there were still 2 or 3 old things in the entire immortal domain that were stronger than the Eastern Region King, and this crazy old man from Kuan-Imo Mountain was one of them. Back then, Crazy Ol had fought with the king of the Eastern Region, and the king of the Eastern Region was defeated and wounded. This incident established Crazy Ol's supreme prestige. Crazy Ol had been the king of the Kuan region for hundreds of thousands of years. He had fought countless battles in his life and never lost, at least on the surface. Crazy Ol was known for his bad temper. However, he was a loner and rarely left the Kuan territory. As long as no one provoked him, he wouldn't provoke anyone. Bei Xian didn't want to look for the old lunatic either. This person's temper was too strange. If he offended him, he would be in big trouble. For the sake of the sovereign artifact, Bei Xian had no choice but to take a risk, because only the Crazy Ol was capable of resisting the king of the Eastern region. Only the Crazy Ol would have a higher chance of entering the Ice Queen Palace. He didn't really want to go to Crazy Ol himself, but Crazy Ol might not give him face if he sent the other deities over. If he couldn't even meet him, then it would be meaningless to send anyone else. He arranged for the paragons to activate the teleportation altar. The king's cities of the various realms were connected by the teleportation altar. The teleportation altar opened, and the king of the northern region brought Balin into it. The teleportation altar lit up for a few hours, and the two of them appeared in Kuin-Imo city at the foot of Kuin-Imo mountain. Crazy Ol lived in Kuin-Imo mountain, and his descendants lived in Kuin-Imo city. Whoosh, 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 Baixian's arrival alarmed the nearby experts who were infinitely close to the paragon level. Following that, they also alarmed the paragon level overseeing the city. A black-haired elder flew over and bowed respectfully. It's actually the Shell Monarch. Kuan Chong pays his respects. Brother Bei Luan is here too? The king of the north nodded slightly. This was Crazy Ol's great-grandson, also a consummate, and the current patriarch of the Kuan family. He was in charge of all the affairs in the Kuan territory. Bei Luan returned the greeting. The king of the northern region didn't want to waste time with them, so he went straight to the point. Is Elder Kuan here? Kuan Chong nodded and said, It's in the sacred mountain. Realm King, why don't you go in and take a seat first? I'll go and report myself. If it had been any other Realm King, Baixian would definitely have fallen out with him. However, Old Madman did not dare to act recklessly. He felt that it was only natural for him to report this matter. This person was too strong and too old. Even the king of the eastern region could only be considered a junior in front of him. Baixian sat in the palace for a full hour before Kuan Chong came in with a bitter smile. I've made King Bei wait for a long time. Old ancestor just saw me, and he wants to invite you over. Baixian was expressionless as he followed Kuan Chong up the mountain. The name Kuan Demon Mountain wasn't pleasant to hear, but the scenery was very beautiful. There was no warrior living on the mountain, except for some hidden experts who were infinitely close to the consummate realm. Crazy Ol was the only one who lived on the mountain. All the descendants of the Kuan family lived in the city. There was a majestic black palace at the peak of the mountain. Baixian and Kuan Chong arrived outside the palace. Kuan Chong bowed and said, Old ancestor, Bei King is here. Come in. After a few breaths' time, an old voice came from inside. Baixian strode in, but Kuan Chong didn't enter. He stood guard at the gate. The light inside the palace was very dim, and there was no one inside. Baixian went around the corridor and entered a side hall. This side hall had no windows, so it was even darker inside. An old man in a black robe was sitting on the ground. His long hair hung down to the ground and covered his face. The old man's back was a little hunched, and he had a strong aura of old age. He looked like an old man with one foot in the grave. Baixian stood in front of the old man. He thought for a moment and bowed slightly. Baixian greets Senior Kuan. Although they were both realm kings, Baixian didn't dare to put on airs in front of Crazy Ol. It was easy to anger him. Crazy Ol didn't open his eyes. He just said coldly, What's the matter? Baixian didn't beat around the bush. He went straight to the point. I learned of a master artifact, but I'm not confident in taking it. I'm here to invite Senior Kuan to join me. Crazy Ol still didn't move. His face didn't even tremble. He just said, Which master artifact is it? Baixian said, It's the Ice Empress master artifact, Heavenly Eye. Oh. Crazy Ol's reaction was still very cold. Baixian waited for a moment. Seeing no reaction from Crazy Ol, he spoke again. Elder Kuan, you don't know about the Heaven's Eye? Crazy Ol's lips moved slightly. Not interested. Baixian was stunned. That was the Heaven's Eye, a very famous Heaven's Eye among the master artifacts. He was actually not interested. Could it be that he already had other master artifacts? But would he complain about having too many master artifacts? Baixian was silent. He was thinking about how to persuade Crazy Ol when the latter suddenly opened his eyes. The sharp light in his eyes stunned Baixian. It seemed that all the secrets in his heart were known by Crazy Ol. Crazy Ol spoke again. If you want this old man to help you snatch the master artifact, just say it. State your conditions. Don't beat around the bush. State your conditions. Crazy Ol's straightforwardness made Baixian speechless. How could he state his conditions for a master artifact? Old Demon Kuan controlled a realm. What did he lack? He wouldn't be interested in ordinary treasures. Xian thought for a moment and bowed. Elder Kuan, you should state your conditions. Just state your conditions. As long as Xian can do it, I will not say no. Old Demon Kuan sneered. If I ask you to guard this door for me for 10,000 years, you will not say no, right? Xian smiled awkwardly and didn't say anything. Old Demon Kuan didn't waste any time either. He went straight to the point. Make a chief god blood oath. My descendants will come to you with my token. As long as you can do it, you must help me. And you must tell me 3 times. As long as you agree, this old man will do his best to help you get this master artifact. Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. He didn't expect Crazy Ol to make such a request. This was equivalent to using 3 favors to exchange for a master artifact. At this moment, he suddenly understood. It seemed that Crazy Ol didn't have long to live. He was going to make arrangements for his funeral. He did some calculations. Crazy Ol had lived for a very long time. It was normal that his lifespan was up. He was silent for a moment and didn't rush to agree. Instead, he said, Elder Kuan, there are some things I need to tell you first. The master artifact has been taken by a small martial artist. He is hiding in the ice harem. The few great perfection martial artists I sent are all frozen inside. In addition, this small martial artist has some relationship with the king of the Eastern region. The king of the Eastern region may intervene. Crazy Ol waved his hand. I don't want to hear about this. I will do my best if I promise you. But there is one condition. Whether you can get the master artifact or not, you must do what you promised me. Deal. Xian said straightforwardly. I agree to Senior's request. As long as I can do it, I will do my best to help the Kuan descendants 3 times when they come to me with your token. If I break this oath, the chief god will abandon me. Crazy Ol stood up without hesitation and said, Lead the way. I will help you get the master artifact. Remember the mobile website. Chapter 3697. In the Tianyu Galaxy, a battleship broke through the void. The battleship wasn't invisible. It was flying in the void of the Tianyu Galaxy. There were powerful divine glyphs on the battleship, so scouts couldn't see what was going on inside. The battleship didn't go near any region either. Therefore, the scouts only observed from afar and didn't try to stop it. Finally, the battleship stopped outside the ancient Rhino realm. The battleship disappeared with a few figures. Before the nearby scouts could detect them, those figures had already disappeared. There were many rhinoceros ape tribe scouts nearby, and all of them were greatly alarmed as they started to investigate the surroundings. No matter how they searched, they couldn't find the figures. The rhinoceros ape race was panicking. Why couldn't he find it? Were there a few at the absolute completion realm? Or were they scouts from the major races? Either way, it wasn't a good thing for the rhinoceros ape race. After this was reported, the leaders of the rhinoceros ape race were all nervous. They mobilized more scouts to the ancient rhino realm to find out the whereabouts of the mysterious warriors. The mysterious warriors weren't scouts, but at the absolute completion realm. There were 4 of them, and the leader was Lord Yin. They were going to the Chaotic Star region, but Luli found them halfway with the Overgod artifact. They turned around and entered the ancient Rhino realm. They flew all the way to the Ice River Valley. Lord Yin made a gesture, and the 3 absolute completion realm warriors spread out to search for the other 3. Lord Yin had received the order from the King of the East to kill Jin Yin and the others if they had a chance. Since the King of the East had said so, Lord Yin would carry out the order. Jin Yin and the others had entered the Ice Harem, but there were still 3 absolute completion realm warriors outside. Lord Yin was really angry and was ready to kill the 3 absolute completion realm warriors. The 3 absolute completion realm warriors were invisible. Lord Yin and the others were able to find them easily. Lord Yin gave the order to attack, and the 4 absolute completion realm warriors dashed toward the 3 absolute completion realm warriors. The 3 absolute completion realm warriors were hiding near the entrance. They were on guard when they saw the 4 figures flying toward them. The 3 great perfection deities looked around and were shocked. Their expressions changed when they saw Lord Yin. The three absolute completion realm warriors took out their weapons at once and released their defensive skills. One of them shouted, "Lord Yin, what are you doing? Let's talk about it." Lord Yin stopped in front of the three of them and said coldly, "Surrender and follow us back to the East King. Otherwise, we will kill you." "Meet East King." The three great perfection deities panicked even more. The king of the eastern region was a god of death. How could they survive if they went to meet the king of the eastern region? That person had swept through half of the celestial region, killing without batting an eyelid. The number of paragons who had died in his hands had already exceeded 20. They were at the absolute completion realm, and they weren't as common as cabbages. These three absolute completion realm warriors knew that Lu Li and the son of the king of the east were sworn brothers. Run! Without any hesitation, the three full perfection realm experts fled in three different directions. Lord Yin sneered. He did not attack them from the beginning because he was waiting for the three full perfection realm experts to escape. This realm couldn't withstand a battle between 7 great perfection deities, so it could easily collapse. He transmitted his voice to the other 3 great perfection martial artists. "The 3 of you, go after these 2. I'll go after Old Demon Tuesday, kill him on sight." Whoosh, the 4 full perfection martial artists went after them. The 7 full perfection martial artists didn't hide anymore. They dashed out of the realm at top speed. As soon as the 7 full perfection martial artists showed themselves, countless scouts were alerted. The news spread quickly. Boom, 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 boom. The battle started outside. Lord Yin was so fast that he caught up with a full perfection martial artist in a short while. They started fighting in the air. An hour later, 2 full perfection martial artists caught up with another full perfection martial artist, and they started fighting. Another full perfection martial artist was chasing after the other one. This kind of news spread the fastest. In just an hour, all the major clans nearby received the news. All the major clans nearby were shocked. So many full perfection martial artists appeared at once, and they were fighting in the air. What was going on? The news spread quickly as well. Many full perfection martial artists from the major clans teleported over. 2 hours later, Lord Yin was done. The full perfection martial artist he was chasing was killed. As the number 1 warrior under East King, there was no doubt that he was one of the best in the entire celestial region. The body of the full perfection martial artist was taken away. Lord Yin went after the other full perfection martial artists. Wow, countless scouts were hiding nearby. They were scared out of their wits. This was not an ordinary battle. It was a battle between full perfection martial artists, and a full perfection martial artist was killed. The death of any full perfection martial artist would be an earth-shattering event. How could these scouts not be shocked? Because no full perfection martial artists had arrived, the scouts did not dare to get close. Therefore, they could not find out who the 7 full perfection martial artists were. The sudden appearance of 7 full perfection martial artists in this battle scared the major forces of the Tianyu Galaxy. They thought it was an invasion from the outside. This could shake the foundation of their rule. Lord Yin was very fast. It took him half a day to catch up with another full perfection martial artist. There is a full perfection martial artist fighting here. With Lord Yin's participation, the tide turned. In just a short while, another full perfection martial artist was killed. The remaining full perfection martial artist was being chased by 2 other full perfection martial artists. It was obvious that he could not escape. After half a day, the remaining full perfection martial artist was also killed. The 3 full perfection martial artists that Jin Yin had left outside were all killed. Let's go. Lord Yin brought the 3 full perfection martial artists back to the ancient rhinoceros realm. The rhinoceros ape tribe king had arrived long ago. He personally led a few elders to the Ice River Valley. Lord Yin and the others were outside the Ice River Valley. They did not hide anymore. After all, they had been exposed. They did not come to the Tianyu Galaxy to mess around. They were here for business. The rhinoceros ape tribe king gritted his teeth and flew up with 2 elders. He bowed and said, "I am the rhinoceros ape tribe king. Greetings, lords." Lord Yin ignored him. A full-perfection martial artist from the eastern region flew over and asked, "This is your tribe's domain?" The rhinoceros ape tribe king replied, "Yes, lords. I wonder if there is anything that we can do for you? Just tell us. Evacuate all the martial artists in this valley." The full-perfection martial artist from the eastern region said in a deep voice, "In addition, mobilize the army to seal off the surrounding 1,000,000 miles. Do not let any martial artists come close." "Yes, Lord." The rhinoceros ape tribe king quickly ordered all the troops and slaves in the valley to evacuate immediately. The rhinoceros ape tribe king also mobilized a large number of troops to seal off the surrounding area. After everything was done, the rhinoceros ape tribe king came back to report. The full-perfection martial artist from the eastern region waved his hand, indicating for the rhinoceros ape tribe king to leave. The rhinoceros ape tribe king thought for a while and still could not help but ask, "Lords, are you from the celestial domain? Is there any problem with the Ice River Valley?" "Don't ask what you are not supposed to ask." The full-perfection martial artist from the eastern region waved his hand and said domineeringly, "Send a message to the full-perfection martial artists and the tribe kings of the Tianyu Galaxy. We have no intention of interfering with the internal affairs of the Tianyu Galaxy. We are only here to carry out the Realm King's orders. Tell them not to come near and not to provoke us. Otherwise, they will bear the consequences." Chapter 3698. Even though the absolute lord of the Eastern region did not make it clear, many families and absolute lord of the Eastern region had analyzed the situation. According to the scouts, they had figured out the identities of the absolute lords. Lord Yin was famous as the chief steward of the Eastern region. Some families of the Empyrean Star region had information about him. None of the families and absolute lord of the Eastern region dared to come closer after learning that Lord Yin was here. Lord Yin had been ordered by the Lord of the Eastern region to kill 3 absolute lords. How could the other absolute lords of the Empyrean Star region dare to move? As long as Lord Yin and the others were not here to fight for territory or to shake their ruling position, they would not interfere. They did not dare to interfere in this matter. The Ice River Valley had attracted the attention of many absolute lords and leaders of the major families. They had only heard about the strangeness of the Ice River Valley, but they had never been inside. It used to be the territory of the rhinoceros ape race, an important land of resources. How could the leaders of the major families sneak in? Now that so many powerful warriors had come to the Ice River Valley, it was only natural that the Ice River Valley had attracted their attention. They were guessing what was inside the Ice River Valley. What was worth Lord Yin coming down in person? What could trigger a war among the absolute lords? Whatever it was, they dared not to go closer. They had to wait until Lord Yin left before they could go. Lord Yin was waiting outside while he was contacting Luli. Lord Yin had a headache when he learned that Jin Yin had set up many Taoist seals near the entrance. The coldness inside was horrifying. Lord Yin would be affected as well. There were so many powerful Taoist seals. Once they entered, they would be attacked by the Taoist seals. By then, Lord Yin could die. What if the 7 absolute lords attacked together? Could Lord Yin stand it? "Lord Yin, don't worry." Seeing that Lord Yin was hesitating, Luli said to them, "They cannot move, and they are no threat to me. I think they will be frozen to death after a while. They are not moving, and they are frozen. I can feel that their blood is not flowing, and they're not breathing. Their life is weakening." Okay, Lord Yin thought about it. They had nothing to do now, so they might as well wait here for a while. When Jin Yin was completely dead, they could go in, crack the Taoist seals, and save Luli. Then they would have accomplished the task given by the Lord of the Eastern region. Lord Yin and Luli talked for a while. Lord Yin took out an interspatial artifact and went in to cultivate. The remaining great perfection deities set up a communication altar and sent the news to the king of the Eastern region. The king of the Eastern region didn't say anything. He just said that he understood. Soon, 3 months had passed. Luli noticed that Jin Yin and the others seemed to have lost their signs of life. That being said, they were still alive. Luli wanted to send a message to Lord Yun, but he decided to wait. Time was not a problem. During this period of time, Blood Fairy was extremely happy. She had spent so much time comprehending divine inscriptions, and her understanding of divine inscriptions had improved by leaps and bounds. Now that she was in the Ice Queen Palace, she was extremely happy to be able to observe the divine inscriptions at such a close distance. Luli didn't care about her and let her do whatever she wanted. If he could decipher the divine inscriptions of the remaining 2 palaces, he might even be able to obtain the Ice Empress treasures. Something's not right. Thinking of this, Luli suddenly became suspicious. The Sky Eye was a sovereign artifact. If the Ice Empress had been killed, then why hadn't the sovereign who killed her taken her sovereign artifact? The Sky Eye had the ability to monitor the world. Even the other sovereigns would be interested in such a miraculous sovereign artifact. Who killed the Ice Empress? Luli had a big question. Judging from the king of the Eastern region's tone, there should be quite a number of sovereigns in this world. There were 3 sovereigns that had reached the realm of sovereigns, and some were born naturally. In total, there should be at least 6 sovereigns. If some sovereigns had died, then there should be at least 3 or more sovereigns alive. Where did they go? Why didn't they show up? The realms above the 4th heaven might have collapsed because of the battle between the sovereigns. Could the sovereigns rebuild the 4th heaven given their abilities? Could it be that the realms had collapsed? Could they just leave it be? The sovereigns were beyond the 5 elements. They were not bound by the rules and could live forever. Why would they start a war? Because of a woman? Luli remembered the rumor he heard before. It was said that the collapse of worlds above the 4th heaven was because of a woman. Suddenly, he was suspicious. Was it because of the Ice Empress? The question was, why did the Ice Empress die when 2 sovereigns fought for her? There were too many questions, but the king of the Eastern region didn't want to say more. Luli also knew that unless he reached the great perfection, he wouldn't have the chance to learn more secrets. Breaking through the great perfection was out of the question. His chances were slim in this lifetime. His strength had always been soaring, and he relied on too many external objects. It wasn't his own combat power. How could a building stand at the top if the foundation wasn't stable? It was too difficult to reach the great perfection. In the 8 major galaxies, it would be good if there were 2 in 10,000 years. He also wanted to take a shortcut. If he could reach the great perfection with the help of external objects, it would be good too. Unfortunately, this was almost impossible. The great perfection was the pinnacle of a certain aspect. Even if he had an offensive sovereign artifact, it would still be difficult for him to kill the great perfection. Another 2 months passed. Luli felt that Jin Yin and the others hadn't changed. They seemed to be lifeless, but they didn't feel completely dead. Luli used psychic power to check their souls. Their souls were wrapped up by a cloud of white energy. He couldn't see what was inside. The bodies of the warriors at the great perfection were damaged. Their energy channels were destroyed, and many parts of their body functions were damaged. Their internal organs must have been frozen into stone. Luli was sure of one thing. Even if they didn't die and could come back to life immediately, their bodies would be damaged. Luli thought about it and used the sovereign artifact to communicate with Lord Yun. Lord Yun thought for a while and said, they must have abandoned their bodies and used all their origin to protect their souls. That is the only way they could keep their souls from perishing. Otherwise, both their bodies and souls would be destroyed. Lord Yun thought for a while and said, think of a way to isolate the cold air at the entrance. I will go in myself to kill them and help you crack the Taoist seal. Okay, Luli thought about it. It was a good idea. Even though it would be troublesome because of the Taoist seal, it could seal up the entire Ice Queen Palace. In this way, the cold air would not leak out. At the very most, it would be more troublesome. When Lord Yin came in, it would be easier for him to crack the Taoist seal. Luli stopped using psychic power and told Blood Fairy. Blood Fairy went to do it at once. For her, this was a piece of cake. It was just that the area was large and it would take some time. It would probably take 5 or 6 days. Luli told Lord Yin, and Lord Yin told him that he would tell him when he was ready. Then, Lord Yin would go in himself, and the matter would be settled. 3 days later, a jade talisman in Lord Yun's hand suddenly cracked. He opened his eyes and dashed out. He saw his 3 absolute completion realm warriors were looking forward, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. The space in front of them trembled as 2 people came out. Lord Yun's heart sank to the bottom. Bei Xian, Kuan Mo. Lord Yun felt bitter. If Bei Xian had come alone, Lord Yun could bring several absolute completion realm warriors with him. But Kuan Mo was here. Not even the king of the East region could survive, let alone Lord Yun. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.